Hello, and welcome to Clear Waters. Tonight we have an interesting topic. I always wonder why God spoke so much years ago, but now He's silent. He speaks in silent ways. No, maybe that's not what's going on. Maybe there's something else. We will find out in this live stream why God is no talking anymore. Oh, real quick, I'm just gonna double check my audio. Maybe there's something else. Sounds good. Mr. Charles Oliver, welcome to the live stream. Are you crying? Welcome to the live stream. What a username. Just in case, I'm live streaming on both vertical and horizontal streams. So the presentations that you are going to see, they are optimized for horizontal streams, just in case. If you see anything weird on the stream, just go to the other one. Probably it's gonna look better. So I'm gonna do a presentation here in a minute, and we're gonna find out what's going on with God. Why God, you couldn't make Him stop talking years back, thousands of years back. Now He's like, He speaks in Morse code. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe He's talking in other ways. We'll find out here. For anybody that wants to call in at my Discord and have a conversation, I'll be happy to receive your calls after I'm done with this little presentation that I'm going to do at the beginning. So let's lower the volume and let's see what's going on. Because I don't know about you, but to me, this is a very intriguing topic. Why? Not only because of why God is not speaking today, but how believers in invisible entities react when someone points this out. Problematic. So let's go to the first slide or scene. I think it would be a good idea if we define what the word speak means. So looking this word up in the internet, it says basically the same thing: to say words in order to express thoughts, feelings, and convey information. Yes, voice. Basically. So probably maybe you're not aware, but in the Bible, there are Bible verses where God supposedly spoke with different people. So let's see some of these examples of God communicating by word, speaking. So let's look at number one, Moses. God speaks to Moses famously from the burning bush. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe we're not aware of this.
Moses, I am God.
God? You're a talking bush on fire.
Go tell everybody I am your God.
But God, people are going to think I'm nuts. No way, Jose. I'm not stupid.
Well, if you didn't know, God spoke to Moses through a burning bush. Oh man, that's hilarious. But anyways, hopefully you have a sense of humor. So yeah, So going back to our times where God spoke directly to people, we find the example of Moses, Exodus 3, verses 4 to 6. Number 2, we have the example of Samuel. God calls Samuel by name directly. You can find that in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 4 to 10. What else? We can also find examples in Job. God eventually speaks to Job out of the whirlwind. This is Job 38, verse 1. Also, of course, he spoke to Jesus in the New Testament. God speaks from heaven at Jesus' baptism. This is my beloved Son, Matthew chapter 3, verse 17. And of course, number 5, Jesus speaks to Paul from heaven on the road to Damascus. Go find out, go read it. Acts chapter 9, verse 3 to 6. I think it's 4 to 6. So, God, the creator of the universe, the Alpha, the Omega, the most intelligent being in the universe, was speaking to people. The immutable God was speaking to people. Yes, how can that happen? I don't know. But he was. So why God is not speaking to people today? You're gonna hear some people, no, God spoke to me last night. Yeah. Every time I hear that, they're lying, making some shoot up. But probably one of the reasons that God is not speaking to people today, I list some of the probable causes. Maybe God doesn't speak to you because 1, you're not worth it. Number 2, you are not saved. Even when you keep repeating the same thing, when I was saved, you're not saved, and probably that's why God is not speaking to you. Number 3, you don't have the Holy Spirit. Number 4, you don't believe enough. God wants people believing 100%, not 99.9%. So you don't believe 100%, you're toast. No speaking to you. Number 5, you have sin in your life, and that's why God doesn't speak to you. Number 6, maybe God is speaking to you, you're not listening because he speaks, I don't know, some strange language. Number 7, God has his reasons. And number 8, God speaks in sign language. So maybe he's like, and you don't understand because you don't speak sign language. That could be, that possibly it, I don't know. So my experience with some believers in invisible entities tends to say things like this: God speaks to me through the Bible. God speaks through the Holy Spirit. God speaks through prayer. Oh man, I hear that one all the time. God speaks to me through prayer. God speaks through circumstances. Believe it or not, people say that. Yes. When something good happens, that was God giving me a message. Something bad happens, that was not God. Number 5, God speaks through other people. Someone tells you something good, that was God. Someone tells you something that is uncomfortable, that was not God. I know, it's crazy, but what happens when you believe in invisible entities, especially invisible entities from foreign countries? Number 6, you have to learn to recognize his voice. Some believers will say this, man, you have to train your mind and heart to understand the language of the Lord. And number 7, God doesn't need to speak audibly anymore. Sure, whatever. So, what happens when you engage in a conversation with someone that believes in gods, invisible entities, invisible beings, theists? They recognize that this is problematic. They cannot explain it. They cannot excuse it. So what's going to happen when believers see this conversation coming? Man, they start with the tactics, man. Let me explain to you. Let me fix the vertical. It looks kind of weird. There you go. Oh, that's too small. Let me make myself a little smaller. Fixing it for the vertical. I know there's people on the vertical live stream right now. There you go. That's better. So what a believer in invisible entities will start saying, they will start using these tactics. Number 1, redefining terms. God spoke changes from audibly speech to feelings, circumstances, prayers, answers, scriptures, etc. Yes, they start redefining terms. Number 2, they start moving the goalposts. Evidence that would normally be required is no longer required for God. Number 3, special pleading. An explanation is accepted for God that would not be accepted for another claimed supernatural entity. Number 4, question avoidance. Difficult questions are redirected toward a different issue. You know what I'm talking about? It happens here all the time. You can witness this by going through my library of videos and see it happening all the time. Simple questions get redirected when the believers see the problem coming. Number 5, ad hoc explanations. When an expected observation doesn't occur, a new explanation is introduced to preserve the belief. And number 6, confirmation bias. Events consistent with the belief receive more attention than events inconsistent with it. But this problem doesn't end there, because some believers will take it even farther into dishonest ways. They will engage in 1, ignore the question. Why God doesn't speak today, man? Just ignore it. Or start interrupting constantly. Very dishonest tactic. But number 2, change the subject. Number 3, attack the person that is asking questions. Attack those pesky unbelievers and atheists for constantly asking questions. Remember, the God of the book doesn't want you asking questions. The God wants you in the book. Read the book. Don't try to be smart. Of course, number 4, dishonest theists will start calling you names. You know, the usual fool, whatever, dumbass. I was being called dumbass yesterday because I don't believe what that person believes. Number 5, discredit the unbeliever. How many times people try to discredit me because I'm not talking in favor of the invisible entity the person believes is real. Yep. Very dishonest. Number 6, confuse them with complicated arguments. Happens here all the time. Simple questions, simple topics. The person wants to take it into the, I don't know, ether of complications that is a topic that it will never end. Make it more complicated so we can get this person asking questions very tired. So number 7, bombard them with information. Let's not stop talking. Let's continue interrupting. Number 8, move the goalposts. Yep. Number 9, change the definition, also known as bend reality. And number 10, by all means, don't admit you are wrong. No, you're not gonna give it to those pesky unbelievers and atheists. You're not going to admit never in the life that you're wrong, because that will present that probably you have been confused all the time. You have been wrong all the time. And that will not feel good to you. So, why God stopped speaking? I explain it to you. If God really spoke directly to people in the Bible, why did those direct conversations apparently stop? Maybe they didn't stop. Maybe they never happened in the first place. Maybe we are reading stories written by people who believe or wanted others to believe that God has spoken to them. Imagine yourself, the creator of the universe, speaking to you. Of course you're gonna lie. People are gonna look at you and give you money and give you presents and adore you and love you for talking to the most powerful being in the universe, even when you know it's a complete lie. So this is a reminder to believers in invisible entities. When you cannot defend God, activate full dishonest mode. Ignore, evade, distract, scare people, telling them they're going to find out when they die. They're gonna go to hell. Insult, confuse, and redefine. Because when you believe in invisible entities, you don't turn into a good person, even if you think you are a good person. No siree. So, for those of you that probably needs to see an image in order to understand what I'm trying to communicate to the world right now about the problematic of believing in invisible entities, invisible beings, especially the ones from foreign countries like the God of Israel. This is an image. Let me take myself out of the image. I look very pretty, but no need to be there to cover the image. So, speak means to communicate by voice. Speak. So what does the believer does? Changes the definition and says, well, God speaks through prayers, answering prayers. That's not speaking. No, God speaks by prophecy. That's not speaking. Speaking is what I'm doing right now, talking to you, speaking. Don't change definitions. Don't bend reality. That's dishonesty. The God doesn't speak. The God has never spoken to you. That He sent messages via something that you felt on your shoulder. Maybe send you a message through the little birds singing in your window. Maybe. I don't know, maybe that butterfly that stand on the tree and you saw it, maybe that's the Lord trying to communicate with you. Not speaking. So, my recommendation for you is stop lying. Stop trying to bend reality. Stop trying to make stuff up. It's not good for credibility. This is not gonna make you a good person. No. And this is one more reason I'm telling people believing in God, it's a problem for humanity. I'm not even mentioning the conflict and division that by default the belief in any invisible entities bring with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my presentation about if the Bible says God spoke directly to people, why doesn't God speak directly to you? So let's jump into the chat and let's open the phone lines for anybody that wants to call in and have a conversation. I noticed that there's someone on the Discord. If you don't mind, Prop Destroyer, if you can tell me your username on YouTube so I can unmute you, if you're kind enough to just let me know via the text. Just protecting the server from bombing. So let's see what's going on in the chats. Maybe some people have some questions. Maybe some people want to push back. Maybe some people want to still bend reality, change definitions, and act in dishonest ways. Prop Destroyer, if you can hear me, if you can just write your username in YouTube. Or if you can tell me who you are, whatever, because normally I allow people that I already know or are participating in the live stream right now. All right, so TP Seeker, welcome to the live stream. When did God talk to Noah? What did Noah use to preach about upcoming flood? TP Seeker also asks, who did God talk to after watching Cain walk away to spread sins it created? And who did God talk to before talking to Noah? Any questions? Mr. Adol Babylon, welcome to the live stream. Adol Babylon writes, the word diverse means showing a great deal of variety. I don't know, that doesn't answer the question of why God doesn't speak today to anyone. TP Seeker writes, folklores and stories, why denied goddesses and gods were praised before and after Christian God was created. Yeah, some people don't know or are not aware that God is one of the thousands of made-up gods that people were making up when this God of Israel was made up. Idol Babylon writes, God being love, and TP Seeker immediately corrects abuse is not love, because I guess, you know, some people cannot admit that the God is abusive, violent. Mr. Matthew, welcome to the live stream. God has spoke to me before. I take it he doesn't talk where I can hear, cause it's not important for me to hear him. What in the world did you just write there, Matthew? So God spoke to you. When was this, and what did he say to you? On the vertical live stream, oh, there's many people on the vertical live stream. Tech and Fun, welcome to the live stream. Quite the punchline, thank you. Abdua Bidoff, welcome to the live stream. Assalamu alaikum, people of the book. God picked best of the best to speak to. They were called prophets. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the presentation at the beginning. That doesn't explain it. I think my explanation is more accurate. Besides that, you don't know that. Probably you read that somewhere and you're just repeating it. Repeating things just because of repeating things is never gonna get you too smart. Juana Monslow, how do you know that he doesn't? Well, enlighten me please and tell me, when was the last time he spoke to you and what did he say to you? If you want to play games. Remnant Truth, welcome to the live stream. Matthew expand on his comment. It was many years ago and he said one statement. Oh man, I'm happy to hear what statement did God spoke to you. Come on, let it out. Michael Knight, welcome to the live stream. Projection is a powerful delusion. Many atheists falsely accuse theists of doing the very thing they do themselves. Are you good enough for heaven? Ever lied or stolen before? Ever lusted or hated anyone before? Oh, Michael Knight, you're doing the old Ray Comfort script. Not good, my friend. It's not good to learn bad things from other people. And you're learning apparently from Ray Comfort. There's nothing good to learn from that guy. Unless you're running a business like he's doing. Michael Knight also writes, we broke God's laws, but Jesus Christ paid for our fine. Michael Knight, not interested in your preaching, and I'm not interested in reading whatever you wrote that you heard somewhere else. You don't know any of this stuff. You're just repeating stuff that you heard somewhere. If you excuse me for a moment, I'm working right now. Hold on. All right, so in case you don't know it, I work 24 hours a day. Moni Maciel, welcome to the Discord. Please let me know if you have any questions or anybody that wants to call in. Some people join and disconnect immediately. I don't know why. So yeah, so Michael Knight, if God has ever spoken to you directly, please let me know when was this and what did he say to you. Otherwise, I'm going to think that whatever you know about God, you got it from someone else, not from a God. Jose de Figueroa, welcome to the live stream. Do facial expressions speak? We're talking about speaking voice like he did in the Bible. You want to make this like a trick, you know? How about speaking in sign language? I'm not playing games. Give me what God spoke to you. When did he speak to you? And what did he tell you? Otherwise, whatever you know about God, someone else told you about, and they could be lying. They could be confused. They could be ignorant. They could be doing it on purpose to manipulate you. So many reasons. And you want to make this into expression, facial expressions. Maybe God speaks like this. That's God speaking to you in facial expressions. Oh, so Matthew, you're going to tell us what God spoke to you. Okay, let's read this. So Matthew writes, I would share my joy, but you don't sound enough as to have faith in my truth. Really? I think you're not going to say anything because no God has spoken to you. But good try. TP Seeker write, nobody needs to have beliefs of any goddess or god to read the Bible that states God mentally and physically abuses people. Abuse is not love. Out of Babylon. Charles Oliver is asking a good question. Why does God tell different people different things? Yep, very problematic. Oh, are you crying? Oh, you're a pro destroyer. Thank you for confirming. Sorry, I almost missed your message. Okay, give me just one moment. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that. So, pro destroyer, you're unmuted on the Discord. Please let me know if you want to have a conversation, and I'll bring the volume up. Dre, also welcome to the live stream via Discord. Good. Give me just 1 second.
All right, sir.
There you go. Now people can hear you. Also, Prot Destroyer, you're up. How you doing? Dre or Prop Destroyer? You guys wanna?
Yo, I'm here. I was just letting Prod answer.
Yeah, so we're asking right now if God has ever spoken to you. When was this, and what did he tell you?
Spoken. Well, every time I have ever, in my experience, it's never an audible voice. It's always it's like receiving a thought that's something that you wouldn't think on your own, essentially. And that's the way that I've heard it described by other people too. It's like they hear him, but it's not audible. It's not like somebody's actually talking to you, you know?
I take it there, Dre, that you didn't see the presentation at the beginning?
I didn't see the entire presentation. No, I saw just like the last couple minutes of it.
Yes, probably that's why you're telling me this, because I presented different Bible verses where God spoke directly to people. And the topic of this live stream is why God is not speaking directly to anyone today.
Well, I do wonder, like, okay, yeah, I wonder, I mean, when I refer to hearing from God, I do refer to him speaking to me. So I wonder if that's maybe the, you know, the context of a lot of those. I mean, I can't speak for all of them, of course, but yeah, I mean, I definitely refer to him as speaking to me when I hear from him, but it's not actually hearing, you know? And so but I guess there's no other way to explain it other than that. Like, that's the most intuitive way of explaining. He spoke to me, I heard him, but in human terms, like I saw there was a comment on the thing, something about schizophrenia, like Raquel had mentioned or something. Typically, schizophrenia would involve like auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, something along those lines. This is not what that is, Raquel, and also to you, Javier, of course, like respectfully, it's just not what I'm referring to is not an auditory manifestation, I guess. But truly the only way I can explain it is hearing and speaking, and hearing him speaking and me hearing, but it's not in the traditional human, you know, earthly sense of what we consider to be hearing. It's definitely different. It's like it's like an intrinsic understanding of something that you, and the way that you know that it's not from you is because it's something, it's always something, it's always like an answer to a question that you're having in the moment. Say I'm sitting there pondering something, or I've been pondering something deep. It's not just some light thing, but it's something that I've been pondering for a long time. And it's like this knowing will drop out of nowhere into your mind about it. And it's and it's not something you would ever think in the past, not something, it's very intelligent. It's very intellectual, highly intellectual.
In the case of Exodus chapter 3, verses 4 and 6, God spoke to Moses. Words spoken. God has ever spoken words to you?
Well, I mean, not. I
If
mean,
you
I would say yes, I've received
b-
words, but not auditory words. Like all I can say is yes, I've received words. I've received like sentences or whatever the case, but not in an auditory sense. It's not like I heard them. It's like they were typed into my, like the only way I can possibly, it's like it's like a typed out. It's not actually typed. That's the only way. It's like it's not audible at all, but it's
Dre,
still spoken. It's still spoken.
Dre, can you say you have never heard God speaking to you words?
Well, I have had words, but I've never heard them. It's like they get implanted in your knowing. It's like it's metaphysically completely outside of the frame of logic, outside of the framework of the way that a traditional conversation would take place between two people. It's completely different than that. It's something that is beyond human understanding. It's like,
But Dre, I'm sorry
yeah,
to
there's no
interrupt you.
explanation for it. No,
Yeah,
you're good.
so
You're good.
I'm not asking you how God communicates with you, because that's what
Right.
you're answering, some special way. That's something that is not explainable. You feel it. My specific question to you
You don't
is,
feel it. You know it. It's not like a feeling.
yeah.
It's a knowing.
So my question is not how God communicates with you. My question is, has God ever spoken to you audibly? Voice,
No,
like
I
he
guess
spoke to Moses.
I don't know. I don't think that I've actually heard. I mean, I'd have to really think back because I've had so many different things, but I don't think I've actually really heard. The only time I guess that I've really had the closest thing I would say to it is when I told you before that story, the vision. I had a vision of the end of the second coming of Christ, which is what we're approaching. We're very much so approaching that time period right now. Look around the world. But again, that's the closest I came to that. After that vision, there was a I am coming soon. But it wasn't loud. It wasn't loud. It was like but it was impactful. It was forceful. It was like a reverberation in my being. So again, it's not sound, and that's what I think. Just it's written as spoke in the Bible, I think, and I can't speak to all those things, but just because something is written as spoke doesn't mean he's not speaking. God speaks in his own way. When we think of speaking, we think of our vocal, like the true physiologic, structures, our anatomical structures in our vocal cords, our vocal cords moving, our vocal folds, our epiglottis, all these different things doing different, anatomical, physiologic responses in order to make a sound. But that's not what I'm referring to.
Okay, so on one of the scenes that I made in my presentation, I explained to people what some believers do when they're presented with a question that like the one that I just asked. And number one, you're doing that right now. Number one says, redefining terms. God spoke changes from audibly speech to feelings, circumstances, prayers answer, scriptures, etc. What you doing, most believers do it. You're redefining terms. I'm asking for me speaking to you audibly. Have you ever heard God like me talking to you like we're talking right now? It's a very simple yes or no.
I mean, I would say not really in the way that you're talking to me. Absolutely not.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna deny that other people have had. If other people have had that, that's for them to, I'm not gonna say that doesn't happen. I'm just saying that's not the way that I have necessarily had. And I've had a lot of different things over many years. Do you know
personally a person that God has spoken audibly to them?
Well, the only thing I can think of is not audibly, but but I know many instances where people have said that he has spoken to them, but it is never, in my experience, the times that people have explained that to me, from what I can recollect. I mean, I don't store every time somebody has an experience, a testimony of what they've experienced in regard to hearing from God. I don't store that in my brain as far as, fuel for my faith. If it's revelational and relevant, then yeah, of course, I definitely appreciate what they're sharing, but it's not necessarily always going to be become data for my experience going off of last night's conversation, So it subconsciously it may be, but yeah. So like I say, I don't know that anybody has off the top of my head audibly, but I wouldn't doubt that, yes, people have told me that. I mean, I've heard a lot of different stories over the years. But when I think of people telling me
how many people have told me in this live stream that God spoke to them, and when I asked them what did God tell you? Well, God told me that He loved me. I'm like, what about the cure for cancer?
He does love you. He does love everybody.
Yeah, but it sounds to me like some generic message that is only of value to the person listening to it. No cure for cancer, no cure for wars.
Well, that'll never come, man. That's because cure for cancer. I mean, dude, the medical industry profits off of cancer. Medical industry profits off of heart disease. All these different things. They will never cure any of these issues because that's how they make money. That's how people make billions of dollars.
The main topic, Dre, is that I don't know anybody that God has spoken audibly to them like He did in the Bible. If you allow me just one moment, Dre, so I can show a video. Hold on.
Moses, I am God.
God? You're a talking bush on fire.
Go tell everybody I am your God.
But God, people are going to think I'm nuts. No way, Jose. I'm not stupid.
Moses was not taking it. Giving instructions to Moses to tell everybody that a talking bush on fire was God. Moses was like, I'm not doing that. But Dre, yeah, I see a pattern that apparently God spoke very much in the Bible, but He's not speaking audibly like He did in the Bible. He's not doing it to anyone right now. Nobody.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't speak for nobody. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. So, but I understand. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I'm not convinced that everything that says spoke in the Bible means an audible speaking. And, I mean, again, we're looking at this through the framework of our minuscule minds, which will rot in the ground. At least the organic matter that make up the composition of our consciousness will rot. And not long from now, we will all turn to dust. And so we're looking at it from a very, very finite, very narrow window. And we're spinning on a giant ball floating in the middle of a vacuum, or I guess suspended anyways, which is spinning around another flaming, massive ball that is also suspended in the middle of the vacuum. I mean, there's a lot of things that we obviously don't have. And that's just, we don't have the answer. And these are things there are things that we will never have the answers to. And the idea that we will have the answers to how some of these metaphysical things work is just absolutely nonsensical.
That's a totally something else topic, Dre. Now, I'm trying to stay on the topic that God is not speaking to anyone right now.
But we don't know that. We don't know that, Javier. That's what I'm saying. It's a broad claim. Like, not speaking, like, He doesn't need... God, He's God. He doesn't need to communicate through speaking alone. And
I have some theories on why He's not talking to people. I think that probably not talking to anyone because no one is worth it right now. I put number 2 because nobody's saved. Maybe people don't have the Holy Spirit. Maybe people don't believe enough. Maybe people continue to sin. Maybe people are not listening to God. Maybe God has His own reasons for not speaking to anyone right now. Or I put another one that is a silly one, but I put that maybe God speaks in sign language. But I think when I ask people continuously if God has spoken to them, I have to continuously ask the question, like happened to me with you, like 4, 5, 7 times until we have to agree that God has never spoken to you directly. So it seems to me, Dre,
that's not what I said, though.
like
Okay, I never said he
yourself as a
didn't speak
believer
to
in
me.
God,
I've
it
told you
seems
he's
to me
spoken to me.
that
I've
I
told you he
believe.
spoke to me, just not audibly. That's what I've
Yes,
said. I've said
yes.
that multiple times. So that doesn't mean he
So
hasn't spoken to me. Because
yeah,
somebody
but
that's
then that
spoken
presents
to would
another
know.
problem, Dre, because if you're getting a feeling, how do you know if that feelings come from God?
Because it's not based on feelings alone, Javier, and that's how it always
Okay,
comes back to.
so
Is feelings,
probably
feelings, feelings.
probably someone else come and gave you a message and you knew that was from God, or maybe you read a Bible verse and you knew that
Javier,
was from God.
You know, here's the deal, brother. Here's the deal. I'm gonna leave this one tonight because it's not really worth going, down the rabbit hole. I love you, man. I love our conversations. I always appreciate them. You know I do, and I always think we have respectful dialogue. The one thing I want to go back to, brother, is again, he's God. He doesn't need to speak through human understand. The ways that we would comprehend hearing is not. Yes, we think, oh, through our ears and speaking noise coming from our mouths, from our throats, from our vocal folds, all these different things. These are the ways that we would communicate between two people that don't have a hearing deficit, don't have a speech deficit, don't have an understanding deficit, whatever the case may be. When I'm talking about God, again, if you want to understand the different ways that he will speak, he will show you. He will show you. And I said to you before, I said, start fasting, bro. And this is for everybody in the YouTube comments too that wants to deny that God speaks. Start fasting and start praying, and you will hear from God. I promise.
The best way,
read his word.
The best way to communicate with a human being, and the easiest way, is to talk to the person, and he's choosing not to do that. That sounds suspicious to me.
It's suspicious because the way that you're looking at it is through a framework of your own understanding, Javier. And that's what I'm saying. If you start fasting, you will understand it from a different perspective.
I can say the same thing. I can say the same thing about you. You're trying to understand God from a perspective of different messages that are not audibly. How in the world do you came to this understanding? How do you know that you're doing the correct thing?
I mean, it's definitely, it's not like this has come like, it's like, oh, I understand everything he's trying to say to me. No, it's definitely frustrating and confusing and all these different things, but that's not because, yes, I can sit and, I mean, have I ever said it? Like, what the heck are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? I mean, certainly I've gotten frustrated, but also it always comes back to a point of me being impatient. It always comes back to a point of me being overzealous, quick to anger, all these different things. It's like, he's the one that's patient, man. He's super patient. And that's what, again, I've explained. I'm like, all of these questions that everybody wants to sit and mock in the chat and all these things, they want to deny God. They want to say he doesn't exist, et cetera, et cetera. They think they have the answers to the creation, the beginning of the universe, and the one who created it, or the absence of thereof, an atheistic viewpoint, whatever the case may be. Again, I challenge every single one of you to do at least a 3-day water-only fast with prayer. I don't care how ridiculous you feel talking to the ceiling. If you are truly a scientifically minded, from a testable standpoint, right? Science, we test things, we don't. Well, I'm not saying that you're going to have a scientific explanation of this. No, let me finish, Javier. Let me finish, brother. Hold
on. If someone does fasting, will they hear the voice of God? God will speak to them. I'm telling
you that you will hear God in many different ways if you
fast how do you know?
Pray to him and you earnestly seek him.
Dre, how do you know that these ways... No, hold on.
Yeah,
how do you know that these ways that you're presenting as God communicating with you, how do you know you're correct? When do you come to the understanding of the mind of God and how God operates?
Because, for example, he'll drop something in your mind that doesn't make any sense to you, and then you'll kind of be like a leaf in the wind. You're like, okay, where are you taking me? He'll put a thought. He'll put an idea. He'll put words in your. It doesn't even matter. It's not. It's more of like he'll put something that is not familiar to you in your personal sphere. Okay, just think of it that way, in your personal sphere. And then he will. These are ways that I know that there's it's
Dre,
far more. No, listen to me. Let me finish.
I have to interrupt you. No,
brother. It gets confirmed when you go meet somebody and you tell somebody the exact same thing that they're struggling with.
Hold on.
You tell somebody the exact same thing they're struggling with that God just told you, and that happens 30 minutes later. You're telling me that
this is a conversation.
Not verifiable?
You're putting an obstacle and giving excuses of God speaking. Yes, you are. No, hold on. Let me speak. Because God, Javier, you want to force God or try to make it into God speaking. Maybe that's not his way. How do you know these things? You could be making this stuff up.
I didn't
And
say
also,
it's
hold on,
not his
and
way.
I'll let you
I
speak.
didn't
Let me
say
finish
it's
and I'll let
not
you
his
speak.
way. I just said for me
This
it wasn't
way
his
that
way.
you are describing that God communicates with you could be absolutely wrong because you don't have the understanding of the mind of the most powerful creator of the universe. What makes you believe that you do understand God and not myself? What makes you so special?
It's not about me being special, bro. I've already told you. You're special too. All of you are special. Every single one of us is special in the eyes of God. It
If
is
everybody's
nothing
a
about
special,
me.
nobody's a special.
Well, it's kind of like The Incredibles. Did you ever see that movie back when you were, I don't know. When I was a kid, there was a movie called The Incredibles, and it was, if everybody's super, nobody's super. If everybody's a millionaire, nobody's a millionaire. Same kind of thing, right? But that's not the way God works, you see, because God is God.
So God, no, wait a second. That
Framework,
part, I don't understand that. So God doesn't speak to people. So who was talking to people in the Bible?
I never said God doesn't speak to people. You keep saying God doesn't speak to
So
people.
what do
Don't put
you
words in
mean
my
by
mouth,
God?
Javier.
What do you mean by God doesn't work in those ways? What do you mean by that? Because that's the entire
in those ways,
topic.
what I mean,
This is
when I
the
say he
entire
doesn't-
topic is about God speaking verbally,
Speaking.
audibly to people.
Sure. Okay. Well, then I will. What I meant is when I say that he doesn't in those ways. What I'm referring to is when you say if everybody's special, nobody's special. Yeah. From a human framework, if for example the world came together as a giant one thing and everybody was just all the same and like essentially a utopia, right? That would be nobody's special. But in God's eyes, everybody is special because everybody is created with intrinsic value by him. Everybody is by the creator of the universe who created the galaxies, the black holes, every single
We're not
thing that
talking
is
about
incomprehensible.
speciality,
No,
Dre.
it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing because you're talking about why is it different? Because when God says somebody's special, it's from a different standpoint, Clearwaters. It's from a point of him saying you're special because you're different than every other human being. That's what makes you
So the reason he doesn't speak to me,
uniquely.
the reason he doesn't speak to people today or to me or to you is because we are special. Is that your conclusion?
No, because that's not what I said. I didn't say he doesn't speak to people today. You keep saying that. You keep
No,
saying
I'm
that
not
I'm saying
saying
that,
I'm
and I
asking,
never said that.
Dre, it's a question.
Okay, bro, what I'm telling you is that yes, you will if you again, this is the 50th time I told you, bro, but I'm gonna keep saying it because it's the thing you need to do.
Okay.
Start fasting. You're not gonna keel over and wither away, bro. I promise you. Do a 3-day fast. I challenge you to do a 7-day fast. I challenge you to do a 7-day fast, water only, and just do what I'm telling you to do. Pray a lot.
Will I hear the voice of God?
You will hear him in many different ways, is my point. And it's
And
not
how
going to
would
all
I
be during
know
the
that
fast
God
either,
is doing this signal? How would I know if God is communicating through a bird on my window? How would I know and what God is telling me? What wouldn't be better for God to communicate in clear ways?
You're not going to know that. Okay, here's how you're going to know. Here's how you're going to know. Because you're not going to just have a bird land on your window and say, it's okay. So that's one example. Yes, right. It's going to chirp at you. No, it's not the bird landing on the window that is the sign necessarily. It's the bird landing on your window every single day when you have the same thought of something. When you think of your mom and she passed away and this bird comes every single day at that exact same, or every single time you think of your mom and you're sitting on your bed looking out the window, and every time you do that, then this bird comes along. And after about 50 times of that happening, after about 10, 20 times of that happening, you're going to say, dang, that's really coincidental. But that's just one example of one little tiny thing that he will do to lift up your spirits and encourage you. That's one tiny minuscule example. That's not even it.
Do you know if
And
anybody that have
make
a
you feel
family
good.
member has died and a little bird has show up through their window 50 times in a row?
Bro, I've had so many crazy experiences that I haven't written down that are like that. So
Okay,
many.
Dre, let me ask you something specifically. Can you do me a favor? If you ever hear
Yes.
someone saying that God spoke to them,
Yes, write it
please
down.
ask them, when did God
Yeah.
speak to you and what did God tell you?
What did he
Because
say?
and preferably do it personally, because there's thousands of people in the internet right now telling other people while making money
Yeah.
that God spoke
Yeah.
to them and gave them revelation and did all this stuff. It's all
Yeah.
a lie. I
Well,
don't
dude,
know
that's the thing, though.
anybody
Yes,
that
no
God has
doubt
spoken
people
to
are
them.
full of, dude, people are full of deceit, no doubt. And
Mhm.
even people that say they hear from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even people that say, I'm not saying all of them, but even people that say they do, yes, those people could be lying too, no doubt,
Mhm.
brother. I'm not saying that they're not, but that's what the point is. He even says that, bro. He even says in the Bible, Jesus' own words are like, you did all these things in my name, you prophesied, and so on and so forth. But essentially, it's like when they die, they take their last breath, like we all will, and our heart stops beating, we go into cardiac arrest, something will happen, and everybody can sit and act like they know or don't know. But I have a really strong inclination to know. Now, I don't have the answers of exactly what's going to happen, but I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of that moment. But there's a lot of people that want to say nothing happens. I'm saying this is what Jesus says. He will meet those people that said they did all these things in his name. These people that said, oh, we did all these things for Jesus. Look, and we're definitely getting to heaven. And Jesus will tell them, depart from me, for I never knew you. Well, we did all these things in your name. No. Boom, you're out of
So,
here. Why? Because you're liars, you're false, you're
so
wolves in
Dre,
sheep's clothing, you're false prophets.
from this conversation that I'm having with you in
Yeah.
regards to this specific topic of God speaking to people directly in an audibly way in the Bible and not
Yes.
doing it today, we can conclude that God has not spoken to you audibly. And whichever other way
Conclude that.
you're trying to explain, some people could hear you and think that you are lying, mistaken, confused.
They can think whatever they want. They can think whatever they want.
Yes.
I don't care what they think, but that's where I would encourage them. If they think I'm lying, well, then take it up to the guy upstairs and find out for yourself. Like I said, I'm not here to freaking manipulate anybody. I told you this last time, Clearwaters. I'm not here to manipulate. I'm not here to lie. I'm here to tell
You're here
exactly
to
my
have
experience.
conversations.
Yes, and and Javier, we always have good ones. Obviously, like this is a little more charged than normal. Usually, you and I are chuckling a little bit more back and forth and stuff, but it's all good. And I always appreciate you. I always appreciate you giving this platform. I always say that because you've really brought a lot of different, very unique and cool people with very, very interesting perspectives and life experiences together in this place. And so I appreciate you for that, man. But
Thank you.
if people don't want to
Same.
believe me, yes, bro. Yeah.
Dre,
I
you know what's
appreciate you,
going
man.
on? You know what's going on with this channel and these conversations? I don't know about other people, but myself, and I can express to you that I am damn tired of dishonesty and lack of transparency in this world. I'm demanding transparency and honesty from you. And I'm going to pressure you and get to the part where God spoke to you directly, because if he didn't, and he hasn't, probably and most likely everything that you know about God, you didn't get it from God. You got it from another human being.
Bro, that's what I'm saying is like, okay, there's a lot of probablys, there's a lot of most likelies in that. I'm saying the most verifiable, testable way for you to experience these things that you are curious about. I'm saying you're not gonna know me telling anybody in the channel or anything what I believe and have experienced is not enough to make somebody else be like, I believe now I'm changed, now I get it. La la la la la la la la. No, they're gonna stop and say either he's full of crap, or they're gonna say, dang, I'm kind of curious about that. I want to know more about this. I might try and do this. You know what? I'm gonna do a 3-day fast. That's what I'm saying. My call to you guys, to all of you, to every single person listening, is start fasting. I'm not saying to go. You don't have to go crazy. It's a discipline. I started practicing fasting like 8 years ago, and I started with like 2 days, 3 days. 5 days, actually longer than that, 10 years ago, probably. But I started, so my point is I started small and I built up, and it took a long time. But now that I've gotten to where I am now, I'm like, geez, I wish I would have went, balls to the wall right away, because I felt like if I, what I feel like now, what I know now, what I have experienced through my entire life,
I have done
a totally different perspective.
I've done several times unwillingly fasting myself. I have never heard God.
But did you
or anything.
pray? Did you pray?
Oh, so not only fasting, but only praying?
Well, that's what I've told you before. I've said that. I said you can't fast. just not eating is just like extreme. It's an extreme diet. There's nothing to that. It's what it is
so
you're
even
denying
if,
yourself. When your body says go eat and you go, no, I'm not going to eat right now because I'm trying to get to the bottom of something that is a very deep human question since the beginning of time.
So
that's
not only,
the difference.
Not only fasting, so I have to pray. I'm going to ask you a question that I know that probably you're not going to like, but this is a question that anybody could ask.
Ask it.
To which God? Because there are thousands of gods.
I told you this before, Javier. I told you this the last live stream.
Which one?
A couple of them, like a week ago. You got what I said is seek the truth. If you seek the truth above all else, you don't have to put a name on it, bro. But if you seek with every intention of your heart, if you seek with a full, pure heart of like, I want to know what the truth is, then that's what I tell you to do. Do that. As long as you do it with if you're doing it from a place of like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Well, good luck.
Dre,
I'm gonna tell you right now, you're wasting your time.
Hold on.
You're
Let me
wasting
ask
your
you
time to do it
something.
with that
So
posture.
if I fast and I pray to God with a humble heart, would I get and come to the same information that you have right now?
The same exact, well, your experience is gonna, the things that you experience are definitely gonna be different. The thing is, dude, like the hearing comes in little teeny drops during the fast. The real experiences come after the fast. But that's the thing. That's the thing is like, I have ended many fasts earlier than I intended to, because I was like, I don't feel anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. For every fast that I've completed, there have been 200, not for every fast that I've completed. I'm saying for the total amount of fasts that I have completed, there are 200 other fasts that I ended way early, like that's what I'm saying. Like, so
okay, so let me see if I understand. Dre, so you have come to the conclusion or found that a way to communicate with God is through fasting and praying, right?
No, a way to silence the noise of the world.
Okay, so you found a way to communicate with God, or to open the communication channel. Am I correct?
Well, it's not. I didn't find a way. People have been doing this for thousands of years. But yes, I am amplifying what Jesus did, what Moses did, what Elijah. Since we're talking about Moses, since we're talking about Genesis here, since we're talking about God speaking to us, and we're referring to Moses as you were earlier. Yes, when Moses fasted for 40 days, I believe he did 2 40-day fasts. As a matter of fact, that's quite intense. That's quite intense. So you want to ask why God? No, listen to me quick for a moment, please. So you want to tell me that, well, how come nobody hears today? Well, what were the not requisites, but what were the things that he did prior to hearing from God? Well, he for sure did one 40-day fast, and I'm sure he heard from him, and he did another 40-day fast at one point in time. So it's like, when you're talking about, well, these people heard from God, it's like, yeah, but they heard from God because they were doing these intense seeking, like they were doing things to hear him. It wasn't like they were just walking down the road kicking rocks.
How do you know that by fasting you're not opening a channel to some spirit world, and some spirits are pretending to be God and communicating with you? How do you know this?
Okay, how do I know that? Hold on, I'm shutting the garage door because it's kind of loud. My neighbors are all like, oh, he's yelling. He's talking about God. Okay, so what was your question again, bro?
You found a way with this fasting to open communication supposedly with God, but how do you know you're not opening some communication with some spirit realm, and there's some spirits posting as God and giving you information?
Because, dude, that's the thing. God strengthens you. He strengthens you. He makes you wise. He makes you focused.
So you know that this is God.
No, listen, because you will. Those things will come. It's not like that. You'll experience the negative stuff. Like, this doesn't just mean all of a sudden life gets easy. No, like, yeah.
So right now you know this is God.
From a spiritual perspective, things intensify, good and bad.
But Dre, you know that the open channel that you made by fasting is an open channel to the Creator of the universe.
For show. Yes. Absolutely.
So basically,
but it's
we can conclude that you know.
I need to be clear about
because you know.
Javier, first of all, this is not something I discovered. It is not something I created. It is not a means of communication which I made. I did not establish this. This is something that many people have done throughout history. And I am thankful that I am grateful to God to giving me the strength to even be willing to try these things. And that's why I'm telling you guys, because most people are just gonna say, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I go without food for 3 days? It's like, you can't even go 3 days without food and pray during it. It's like people think I'm asking them to cut off both their legs or something. It's crazy. It's like, it's so easy, but it's so hard. And I know it's hard because I've failed so many of them myself.
I don't want to be negative, okay? Like finding flaws on everything you're saying, but I see another problem, another negative with what you're saying, because this information, you didn't get it from God. You got it again from another human being.
Fine, but okay, but again, like there's always gonna be another what if. This is where I say, just do the fast, Javier. And for everybody listening, just do a fast and pray. But don't be praying like, I'm praying because I think, like, pray like, okay, if you're actually out there, I need you to show me. And I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is. I'm trying to actually seek you right now.
Basically, with the creator of the universe, the Alpha, the Omega.
Omega, first and last, beginning and the end. Amen.
Yeah, the conditions are that you have to jump through a couple of hoops in order to open a communication channel with the creator of the universe, also known as the God of Israel. And he's going to provide you with special messages, not verbally, about stuff about life and
I'm not going to say what
death.
he's going to do. I'm saying that he's going to do it in many different. I'm not going to say he's not going to verbally. I don't know that. That'd be absurd for me to claim that. I'm saying that he's going to. I'm saying so many different things are going to happen that are completely beyond your understanding.
What is
beyond
the
mine,
most
beyond any of ours.
What is the most powerful, supernatural, convincing message that you have gotten from the creator of the universe?
Dude, my goodness, I don't know. Even that's a
Wait a second.
That's a good question.
So you have received communications from the most powerful being in the universe, and you're gonna say I don't know?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I don't know in the sense that there's nothing there for me to share. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that is a very, very good question. It is something that is not explained in the sense of me saying, well, he told me this. That's not the way that, dude. Like, God leads me to people that need, like everybody's mission is different, dude. Everybody's purpose is different. So I'm not going to speak for what your experience is going to be. The way that it goes for me, like, for example, like and I still struggle, but I used to be very like egotistical, very prideful, very self-centered person, very like, I wanted to be rich. I wanted money. I wanted to have cars and a mansion and a super yacht and all this crazy stuff. I was insane. I wanted a $300 million boat, bro. Like, what a psycho. When I was 10, you know, I used to watch super yachts on TV all the time and mega mansions and all this crap. I was fixated on things of the flesh, on things of this earth, bro. And all I wanted was for myself to be whatever, king, I guess, in my own little world. Now, the thing that, so that's how I was. And that's how I was for a long time. So what he has done for me in this sense, like the profound way that he has changed my heart, the profound way that he has changed my life. And this has been through, again, years of seeking and fasting and so on and so forth. But it's fully worth it because now I'm seeing it more clearly. And what I'm saying is that now, like the way that he has changed my heart is like, I don't want, like now my goal, he sends me to help people that are like homeless and stuff, bro. Like that's what I do now. So the way he speaks to me is not necessarily like I said, it's not audibly, but he sends me places, bro. He sends me across the country, dude. I'll drive across the country because why? Because he has, I don't know why. When in the moment, I don't know why. But a week later, as I end up at this destination and I'm kind of just going from place to place, whatever, there he leads me to this person that is desperately needing a message or whatever the case may be. I don't know, or just a lift me up. Somebody that loves them, somebody that shows them, somebody shows them that somebody cares about them.
Has God ever sent you to a hospital to communicate
yeah,
some kind of healing to children or anything that could be like,
no,
wow, powerful, supernatural, convincing.
Well, bro, first of all, in the helicopter, I always pray for my patients. Always.
You heard
That's
my question, Dre. You heard my
did hear your question, but my point is that, like, when I'm with patients all the time. I'm always in hospitals. Has he sent me to a hospital as like when I'm not working? No, he hasn't done that yet. Yes, actually, no. Yes, I was in a hospital last January. Again, this was during a 21-day fast. Actually, it was at the very beginning of it. I drove across the country, and then when I was there, I started a fast. I wasn't intending to do so. So when I went to this hospital, I was about 4 days into this fast. No, I did not lay hands on anybody and pray for them. But yes, I did pass many people, like, in the hall. Like, it wasn't like a traditional hospital. I passed many people in the hallways. I shared many, like, warm gestures with people in the hallways. So yes, to answer your question, that's the one time I can answer that. But no, otherwise, like, that hasn't been my experience, is him calling me to hospitals. Where he calls me is to run down places with needles everywhere, bro, and like with, like,
But Dre,
people that are on heroin and fentanyl, and
if the most powerful being in the universe, the Alpha, the Omega, the most intelligent being in the universe, communicates with me and tells me to go someplace, I would ask, what for? Because it could be the devil talking to me, and I want to make sure that whatever I'm going to be sent to is something.
Dude, it's not the devil, because it's pure, bro. It's pure. I mean, yeah, no, it's scary. Like, don't get me wrong. It's never like I'm like, whenever I do this, it's always like,
but Dre, do you understand what I'm saying?
Why am I driving?
Do you understand what I'm saying? There's people like myself.
You're saying, how do I know? How do I know?
There's going to be people like myself out there that are not, jumping into the pool of believing immediately once we hear or feel something like a message. I got some feeling and I have to speak to someone. Some people have, some people have ended up dead because of what you're saying.
Well, okay, I don't know what to say about that. Again, all I'm telling is my experience, and I encourage people to fast because I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not doing it like, I'm going to waste all their time and they're going to not eat for a few days and nothing's going to happen. Like, that's not where I'm coming from with this. I'm coming from like, no, God wants to do a miracle in everybody's life, and he wants to use you, Javier. He wants to use each individual. So here's my thing for you, buddy. Let me tell you what. The fact that your heart is with people that are sick and dying in the hospital, dude, I have very, very little doubt that is exactly one of the main things that he would really create a lane for you to do. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. And you would be the person that you're talking about right now, the person that you're wondering about in the hospitals. It would be you.
Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. But in my case, I don't want to bring preaching to sick children to the hospital.
You don't have to bring preaching.
I don't want to bring conditions to communicate with God. I want to bring healing. Period.
Yeah, dude.
You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to do any of the stuff.
Healing comes in many different ways, Javier. It comes through medicine. It comes through skilled, knowledgeable, brilliant medical professionals, neurosurgeons, cardiothoracic. Listen to me.
I have to correct you.
Let me talk real quick. Please, bro. It comes through many different means. It comes through many different medical specialists that are highly specialized, highly educated in their field, and have spent their entire lives trying to understand the kidneys, the brain, the heart.
That's the effort of a human being studying.
But there's also there's healing that comes in a different way too. So there's that kind of healing, but there's also healing that comes in the form of peace, in the form of love, in the form of showing up for people, in the form of showing up when nobody else is showing up.
But this is stuff that people do. Right? This is stuff that people do. There's no God involved in that.
Yeah, and that's healing stuff though, bro. That's healing. And just because
I'm not talking about those type of healing. I'm talking about curing a kid of cancer.
You are talking about curing a kid of cancer, or you're not?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another thing too. Yeah, I mean, just because dude.
But Dre,
People have had
don't make this
I can't
into
answer
something.
why everybody
don't-
hasn't
don't-
had the miraculous healing.
Dre,
I can't
I don't
answer that.
think you think that I'm saying this stuff because I want to be romantic about people healing their heart. No, my friend.
No, I'm saying we don't know what kind of healing people need, bro. That's what I'm saying. God knows
I'm
the type
pretty
of healing that
sure
people need.
that a sick kid in the hospital,
understand
we know
that. I
exactly
understand that.
what healing they need. So
I
if someone,
understand.
I go to a
So then
hospital
go in there,
and
lay
I'm
hands
gonna,
on them and pray for them.
I'm
bro.
gonna
Go
tell
in there
them,
and lay hands on them and pray
I'm
for
gonna
them.
pray for them. You know,
Yeah.
probably someone is gonna punch me in the face.
Put your hand on their shoulder and pray for them, bro. Like intentionally.
No, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be embarrassed.
Well, why is it about you? It's about them, isn't it? Is it about you being embarrassed or is it about them
Why
being healed?
don't
Which one
you
is it?
go
Which one do you
to a
want?
hospital and while doing fasting and praying for those kids in the hospital? Why you haven't done that? If you have some special access to the most powerful being in the universe.
Because, dude, okay, good question, dude. No, it's not. I appreciate the question. Yeah, it's not something that's been laid on my heart to do, bro. It's something that's clearly laid on your heart. The thing where my heart is right now, it's not to say that I don't have a heart for those kids and stuff, dude. I certainly do for anybody that's sick. And that's why when I'm at my job taking care of sick people, bro, flying in them in an air ambulance, I literally do pray for them, but I also do medical interventions. It's not like I'm just like it's not like I'm avoiding doing medical interventions by just I'm gonna pray for them first. No, I pray if somebody's really sick and dying, bro, I pray for them while I'm doing medical interventions. I pray, the whole time, off and on sometimes not the whole time, sometimes right at the beginning, sometimes at the end. Sometimes I say a little prayer, sometimes I say a big prayer. It's not the same for everybody. It's all kind of just depending on what happens in the moment, bro. I'm not a perfect person, dude. Like I'm not like super,
So
I'm
not
not
being
a
a perfect
militant. I'm not
person
a robot.
means that you
I'm
don't
not
have
a robot.
that means that you don't have a personal communication with God.
No, what I'm saying is that my heart isn't to like go to, not at this point in my life anyways. Like, yes, I have been to the hospital. Yes, my heart is to pray for people and to help people heal. But people need, like, the type of healing that I am currently being drawn to is healing people that are addicted, bro. Healing people that can't get off of
Yeah,
very,
but
very
we're not
difficult
talking
drugs
about
and
that
it's destroying
healing,
them.
Dre.
Dude, there's many. You can't say that healing doesn't count. What are you talking about? Those people are sick, bro, and they're not sick
The
because
thing
they're like.
is,
they
Dre, that
they
there's
need help.
people
They're
that
patients,
heal
bro.
from drugs without a God.
Say that again.
People heal from using drugs without a God.
Yeah. Okay, fine, but there's also another.
Dre,
However many testimonies.
this is gonna go
However
into,
many testimonies there are of people that.
This is gonna go into
Yeah.
an endless
Dude,
subject.
no, it's not, because you're saying that God heals people. Yeah, people have gotten off drugs without
We're
God.
we're
Yeah,
looking for
obviously they have.
people that God has spoken to directly to find out if anybody knows information about the God, because the God provided them with direct information like he did on the Bible. Everybody that knows apparently about God, they know about God because they got the information, the data from another person or another group of people.
For every person that you say has done something without God, there's another person lined up next to him that's done it with God, and and they give thanks to God, and they say they couldn't have done it without God. So yeah, whatever. There's always going to be a back and forth. But just because somebody gives credit to God over here and somebody doesn't give credit to God over here, well, it
But
doesn't
that's
answer
not
the
the main
question of
topic, Dre. We're talking
No, it
about
doesn't change
direct
the fact of whether he's
communication.
real or not, bro. And if he's real, then the idea that just because somebody doesn't give God credit for their healing doesn't mean that God didn't heal them. Just because they don't say God healed me doesn't mean God didn't heal them, bro.
The main point is that whatever you know about God, you don't know it from God. God is not feeding you this information. Someone else is doing it. Some group of people. Whoever made up this God, created all this information, handed it to you. And that's how you know there's a God among the thousands of made up gods. Espinada,
Well,
I think
again,
you're
that's
muted.
not how I know. That's not how I know, but your opinion, and that's fine. That's your opinion.
Forget about my opinion. I'm looking for people that have heard God's voice that is alive, not the dead people from the Bible. that probably they never heard something.
Well, again, as I said, Moses, you use Moses as the example. Moses isn't just an everyday example. The guy fasted for 40 days twice, dude. So you're using him as the example, and it's not a good example if you're not going to take fasting into account.
So only
And I'm
people
trying
that
to bring
fast
fasting into it. You're trying to
hear
deny the fasting.
But Dre, you fasted and you haven't heard the voice of God.
Dude, just because I haven't heard somebody talk to me doesn't mean that I haven't had a million other experiences.
And that also doesn't mean that whatever you're feeling or think that is communication from God, that doesn't mean that that's communication from God.
Which is why I say this is pointless for us to argue about this back and forth, because you're only going to ever believe it once you experience it for
It's not an
yourself, which is what I've
argument.
always said.
The first time I ask you if you have ever heard God's voice, just say no. End of story. End of conversation.
Well, again, fine, fair. From your perspective, I understand why you're frustrated that I didn't say that. From my perspective, I'm not thinking, again, when I think of hearing, I don't think of it. When I say, did you hear that? Did you hear that bird chirping over there? I go, oh yeah, I did hear that bird chirping over there, because I heard it. When I think of, did you hear from God? Did you hear God? It's like, yeah, but it's not because I heard it. It's because there's a million different ways you can hear from God, and they're all different, right? And so that's my point. Talking about hearing as if I'm talking about hearing chickadee over on the tree chirping in my ear, it's not the same thing, dude. And I'm sorry that I didn't answer the question the way that you would have liked me to answer it right away. And I'm also sorry, and I'm not trying to dispute, like, obviously it seems like I ran in circles about that, but it's like, as you know, Javier, I have like complex ways of thinking about this stuff. It's not necessarily like, it's straightforward. So, and I also don't have, like, I'm not a super black and white guy either. So it's like, if there's something that is, if you, like, I appreciate that you wanted a direct answer. I'm sorry that I didn't give it. I understand that that's what you were looking for. I'll hop off the channel to give somebody else an opportunity to actually answer that question the way that you would like it to be answered. But as always,
the honest way,
brother. Yeah. Well, you can say it's not honest. You can say I'm not being honest all you want, but that's not what so you're going to call me a liar, and that's fine, Javier. I've never once called you a liar.
If you ask me if I ever, even when I was a believer, if I ever heard the voice of God or God spoke to me directly, audibly, I would say, no, Dre.
That's fair. I appreciate that, but that doesn't mean that I'm lying to you, and it doesn't mean that I'm being dishonest with you because I answered it in a more in-depth way that was not the desirable way for you. I understand why that's frustrating, but it doesn't mean I'm lying to you, dude. Like, I've told you this before. I have no interest to come in here. I wouldn't waste my time on here arguing, not arguing, but debating, dialoguing. I wouldn't waste my time on here doing that if I was trying to. I understand some people might do that if they were lying, but I personally, this is for you to trust me or not, I wouldn't come on here as many times as I have to share my little piece of the pie in the whole grand scheme of the history of humanity. I wouldn't share that little piece of information if it wasn't my piece to share. Like,
Dre, no worries. I'm not contemplating any of that stuff in my head. The only thing that I'm getting from this information that you have never heard God's voice. That's it. Now, I'm not thinking about your line
I'm thinking right now. I don't think I have heard. I don't think I have heard him, like, audibly. I don't think I have, but I have heard him. So this is where I say, see how I say heard, but I have heard him in many other ways. And that's what I'm saying. When I think of heard, I don't think of it as an audible thing when I'm referring to God. Yes,
Dre,
if somebody said, did you hear the horn honk? I'd say, yes, I did hear the horn honk.
The next time I do a live stream,
I'm not talking about him in the sense of hearing audibly.
The time I do a live stream where I ask people, hey, have you ever heard God? But not in a talking way, then you can tell me all the stuff. But this is not the topic.
Okay, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for jumping on. I just jump on when I have to apologize. So, yeah,
no, I should. I will. Always welcome to call.
Thanks, bro. Javier, you're great, man. I really do.
You too.
I think you're funny. I get a kick out of you, and I really appreciate that you're trying to do legitimately intellectual, hard like legwork here. Like, and I think you bring some really cool people on, and I'm excited to hear who talks next. So God bless you, bro, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you, Dre. Appreciate it. Well, that was an interesting conversation about if someone has heard God's voice audibly speaking, like he spoke to, for example, Moses. God said to Moses, "Do not come any closer," God said. "Take off your sandals, for the place where we are standing is holy ground." So the creator of the universe was worried that Moses was using sandals.
Hey man, you hear me?
Yes, Prod Destroyer, how are you?
I'm great. Just wanted to clarify the question because I saw the first time I came to the stream, it said like why he stopped speaking, but I was just listening to your conversation with Dre, and now you're asking a different thing, like if has ever God talked to him, or, so what is the real question here? Like, why doesn't God speak? Or
the topic on the screen says if the Bible says God spoke directly to people, why doesn't God speak directly to people? Or directly to you, I'm sorry.
Okay. So
in my presentation, I show the definition of speak: to say words in order to express thoughts, feelings, or convey information.
Yes, speaking like we are speaking right now.
Yes.
Like audible sound.
Like the way he spoke to Moses.
You're basing your like idea from many passages in the Bible where God has spoken to some specific prophets and people he sent from him or to speak in behalf of him. Yes. But the same Bible answers this question many times in many different forms of why he's no longer going to speak like that. Because in the Old Testament, if you see Isaiah, Jeremiah, Moses, and I noticed you were like asking, why did he remove his handles? But all of that has an answer. But the main reason, and as quoted in the Bible, is in Hebrews 1. It says, God has spoken in many ways and through many means, but now he has spoken through his Son, and the reason he's no longer speaking to us is because the message is already completed. The message he wanted to give us and what is important for us to receive from him is already completed in his Son, and any Christian that tries to convince you with stories that are not based on these Bible statements is probably wrong or lying. I'm not saying that the previous guy was lying. Maybe.
Destroyer, hold on a second, please. Wendy Kirkland, thank you so much for the jewels. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Pro Destroyer.
Sure. So, anyone who tries to tell you like you need to do this to hear God's voice, that's really misleading, because it's not how God is going to communicate, not speak, but communicate to you anymore. And we find that in the scriptures, the message is completed, and his Son already came, and we have his Son words, which and his Son death and resurrection, and not only in the scriptures but in many other external historic sources. So the question is itself like a trap, because many Christians will try to say, is that I feel when I do this, I feel this feeling. That's not biblical. Salvation in knowing of God in our days is only through faith. Only through faith. There's no one who can tell you that he has spoken or received words directly audible from God. So the answer for you as a real Christian is these guys are lying to you. You're never going to hear directly the voice in an audible sound from God, because that is against what the scriptures said. You're only going to be able to spiritually get this message and His will for you through the scriptures and through the Spirit, the Holy Spirit.
So Brother Destroyer, if you don't mind my asking, how do you know about God?
Bible.
And where this information from the Bible coming from?
From Jewish scriptures, historic scriptures.
And where are these scriptures coming from?
From their historical living prophets, registries.
And what do you call these prophets?
People.
So the information that you know about God doesn't come from God. It comes from other people.
No, it comes from God. The words.
Okay,
say,
yeah.
say
Okay, so hold on. Let's go by step.
Yes.
At one moment in that scale or that chain is people.
Yes.
So can we agree that in between the Bible, the scriptures, and God, is not God doing the writing directly? There's people as in intermediaries. Yes.
No, directly.
How do you know this? Did you see God writing this information on a piece of paper?
I said that I said that the scripture has not been written directly with a paper pen from God.
So who wrote it on paper or on walls or whatever?
It's prophets.
And what are prophets?
Humans like us.
Yes, people. So whatever information you got from God, you're getting it from other people.
People inspired by God.
Could be, but it's people.
Yes, could be.
Yes.
Yes, people, like all of the information, scientific information we get.
So can we agree that this information you're not getting it directly from God to you?
Yes.
Okay, so can we agree also that this information you're getting it from other people?
Yes.
Yes. You don't see that as problematic? In many ways.
And it fits what the Bible says, that it is through faith that God hid this from logic. Imagine if this was like a provable something that you could prove like mathematically or through science, and only smart people could go to heaven and could be saved or something like that. That's like but God said that it is going to be through faith, and Bible said, or Bible is stating that the only way you can get there and understand Him, not completely, but what He wants from you, and understand your purpose here, and understand that you're gonna have eternal life, is through faith.
Yeah, but Brother Destroyer, you're telling me what you believe, okay?
Yes.
I'm looking for people to tell me if they have ever been
No.
given information about God from God and not from other people, which could be lying, could be confused, could be mistaken, could be manipulating the information from many thousands of different gods, from different translations, from different versions. So, see, if you haven't gotten any information directly from God, and never spoken to you directly or provide you information that He is real and exists, do you know anybody that could have been contacted directly from God and not being fed this information from other people?
That is alive.
That God is real,
No,
or any specific message from God.
No, these people that you're searching for needs to be alive.
Yes, of course. We need to ask them questions because the dead people from the Bible, we already know Moses God spoke to him directly. Spoken word, audibly.
Based on the Bible, Moses, Isaiah, many prophets. But you're never gonna find this. Just to the chat. Whoever Christian comes here and tells you that he has listened, God, voice, audible sound, waves, is lying or is sick, or just go to the scripture, because it's I didn't came here to try to convince you. I came here for those in the chat trying to remember, it's just faith. It's not about your feelings, it's not about you being smart, it's not about you being, there are many dumb people, Christian, there are many smart people, Isaac Newton, Tesla, Gauss, Euler, biggest geniuses ever existed, who believed, and there are many dumb people like me who believe. And that's it.
I take it, Destroyer, that you were not here yesterday.
What?
You
No,
were not
never.
the live stream. Okay, so first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Have done several live streams explaining how people end up believing in invisible entities. This is a specific process that I explain it, and the most recent live stream I speak about this was done yesterday. If you have a little time, just watch like the first 5 or 10 minutes of the live stream where I made a presentation and explain how I think a human process information and how humans operate and how we end up believing in invisible entities. Specifically, sometimes I think in your case, you believe from an invisible entity from a foreign country, because this is the God of Israel. This God was invented among thousands of other gods that were invented at the same time that this God was invented. But this God made it to America. That's the only difference. And this is the God probably that you mostly know, but probably you have never prayed to El or Ashura or any of the other gods, Baal. So so my view, first of all, is that believing in gods, in invisible entities, is a problem for humanity. And number two, believing in gods has nothing to do with believing in gods. This is about people's feelings.
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe you have crossed with many feelings-based Christians, like these guys who go to a 10,000 people church and start to play the battery and all that. But you need to be very careful with how you present things, because the same way I accept that could be that Moses was hallucinating, it's a could be. So you cannot like assert that this God was invented, because it could be that it wasn't. There's no mathematical proof to prove God's existence in the same way that there is no mathematical proof to prove its existence.
So would you agree that probably the whole thing could also be made up?
Of course, it's by faith. I'm a 90. I'm pretty sure I can never go back from my beliefs, but I will never go to you like, hey man, God exists, because convincing you does not even depend on me. It depends on Him. Many people says that the you have the choice, but that's another topic. You never had.
So you're basically betting on red?
I'm basically what? I'm sorry. I'm basically what?
Betting on red.
Basically,
You're hoping that the God is real because you have no direct knowledge about God. You have knowledge about what other people are telling you, and you're hoping.
I am convinced, but I'm not. I don't have a physical proof of it. I can tell you that there's no way. There's no way I can change my mind. But there was a time where I was in the opposite side, and this is different. I was there when you see things and you say, no way, God is there. It's just there's no way. But then you read the Bible entirely, and of course you start to listen, digging, and you understand why all of these things happen in God's ways of getting all of the glory and all of His will completed. But no one is.
So what do you think when people write on the chats, God is real? What do you think about that? What's your opinion?
That they're convinced. They're completely convinced.
You mean convinced?
Yes, I'm not native speaker. I'm sorry.
No. Your English is perfect. Your English is better than mine.
Oh, yes. Yo también hablo español. Soy
perfecto.
But yes, these guys say that because, as me, they are completely convinced, but they forget that convincing you.
But why would you convince anyone of something that you cannot prove, or you're not 100% convinced of? And also, if you don't mind, what happened with people that say that Allah is real, or Olodumare or Odin is real?
Yes, many you can find also this Christian boom in China. You can also find this Christian boom in many Muslims, and you will find Christian people in very isolated countries like Nigeria, and I would say that they're just not in God's plan, and it's sad, but they need to hear. And what we try to do is not because God needs us to spread His word. It's just that when you are convinced of something, you have this seed in your heart to try to talk of it. Like if you are in love with cars, you're gonna talk about cars. Like if you're in love with I don't know, whatever activity, you're gonna talk about that activity. So it's not that we're trying to convince you to come to Christianity, but
yes. No. You're not, but there's some people that, man, they want to force you into believing. So, I'm going to ask you for a big, humongous favor, Destroyer. If you ever know of anybody that has any information, evidence, proof, or anything for any God, please don't be selfish and share it with me.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah,
but yes.
I suspect you're correct.
Yes.
That's problematic, and that's why I continue saying that believing in invisible entities is a problem for humanity. This is when I say that this has to do with feelings 100% and not a real God. It's because the belief in the powerful, loving God gives meaning to your life, even when the God you don't know is real, because you don't need to prove that the God is real, because you're getting the emotional benefits from the believing, not from the God.
Exactly.
Not at all. Not at all. You know what? Being Christian has been a torture for me. I was more happy when I was not.
I'm gonna save you the preaching. Are you gonna be saved when you die?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No. Hold on. And how do you feel about knowing that you're gonna have eternal life?
About knowing?
Yes, you know that you will be saved and have eternal
No.
life. How does that make you feel?
That was a plus. In fact, I was just trying to find the best how can you say this? The best reason for what was going on, and not only academically through academic means, but from
So do you feel good or feel bad about knowing that you're gonna be saved and have eternal life? Do you feel good, feel nothing, or you feel bad?
I feel saved. I feel
And the safe is feeling bad or not feeling anything or feeling good.
saved is feeling bad or feeling good.
Or not feeling
I
anything.
I could say you this. I could tell you this. Like, I can say I feel good, but I also feel bad. Because maybe some people close to me are not gonna make it.
Yeah, that's not the question. We're talking about you.
Yes, but I mean, if your
Are you-
mom's doesn't affect you, or so.
Yeah, but you're going to be
expecting-
saved. You're going to
just
be
in-
saved.
Wait a minute.
See,
Wait a minute. I do-
Broad Destroyer, this is what happens sometimes when I have conversations with people that believe in invisible entities. You
Yes, I
know
believe in invisible
you know where this conversation is going. We're gonna find
No, no.
out that behind your belief that you're gonna be saved is a good feeling.
Same as it could be a good feeling to say I died and I enjoyed my life at plenty, like having 100 women and but you're trying to force me to answer you yes, and I
Well,
and I can
no.
tell
Wait,
you-
no. We have to pass. Hold on. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. It's a very simple question. How do you feel knowing that you're going to be safe and be with God for eternity?
Good.
You say, I don't want to answer, and that's it.
But don't you feel good if you can do whatever you
But
want?
I noticed
and
you
no
haven't
one is
answered
going
the
to judge
question.
you?
You haven't answered the question.
I said you yes. I feel
Yes,
good. I feel
you
good.
feel good, right?
Yes.
So
yes, of
there's
course.
feelings behind your beliefs.
No, it's not
No
behind.
feelings.
It's in front, because that came after. It's not that I came to God to be saved. It's not that I came to God running from hell. No, I came to God because I found it. I found it. Me. Not
Mhm.
not you guys. Not all the world. I found it to be true in my life. Then I get this salvation. It's not that I know that, oh, I need to go to Christ because I don't want to go to hell. I'm gonna be saved. No, the opposite position could be taken with, you know what, this guy
Yeah.
doesn't exist. I could just enjoy my life however I want, and nobody's going to judge me, and that is going to feel good.
Prop Destroyer. I mean, this is the kind of conversations that I have sometimes with people that believe in invisible entities. You're going around the bushes. You're trying to redirect. You're trying to not getting to the main subject of what we're talking. I ask you, hey, how do you feel? And you tell you feel bad about other people not being saved. I never ask you that.
Okay,
You're
let's
trying to
do an
hold
exercise.
on. The only reason you're doing this old, very extremely old tactics is because you know that if I continue asking questions, we're gonna come to the conclusion that the only reason you believe that this invisible entity is real is because it feels good to you, because it gives meaning to your life. It gives you something to live for. There's nothing else. There's no God. You have never talked to God. God had never spoken to you. You have never seen the guy. You have never heard the guy. You only have data that other people have provided you with. So all this believing, all these things that you feel come from believing, not from a God. Espinara, you want to say something?
Oh,
Well, I kind of agree with you. Human beings are just a really odd creature, the way their brains work. And
Who?
I read an article a while back that said that more than likely humanity started believing in the idea of gods and spirits and things like that um, about the same time that they learned language or started using language. So it's basically what the way it worked out is that people would, from ancient times, even before they knew how to write or anything, is they would hear things, and especially the hunter gatherers that would be out in the fields and they would hear something in a breeze or uh, the
Thunder.
wind blowing in the bushes.
Thunder.
So thunder, yeah, exactly. In fact, that now that you bring it up, the god of the Jews was originally a thunder god. So it's humans just make things up. I mean, you see it every day online. You'll see people think things in their head and start believing they're true, even though they're not about gods or anything else. They're just stupid little things, but they do this. They do this all the time. It's kind of like the telephone game. You, you tell somebody something, the next person you tell somebody something else, and after thousands of years of this, um, God speaking to people. I mean, when's the last time anybody spoke to God or heard God? When was it? It was before the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
The New Testament, after the Old Testament, God pretty much cut everybody off. In fact, I think that the story was when the Jews were exiled in Babylon. I think it was Babylon, it might have been Persia, but um, they just started writing their own stories and things like that. And they were all taken from stories that were kept from word of mouth, that were just the people remembered these stories and they would tell them to each other generation to generation. And, you do stuff like that. And then you finally write it down. It's a completely different thing than what it started from. So speaking to God is not um,
How many gods do
yeah,
you
go
think?
ahead. Let that guy talk. Let the guy talk.
but
He wants.
like I
I'll,
want to do a deal with you. Like I will answer you. You will ask your question. I will answer, and I will get silent, and you will say if I answered or I didn't answer your question, because you're saying
okay.
you're not answering my question. You're going back and forth. So
No, it's the same
let
thing.
let's
It's the
just
same thing. It's all
ask
in
me the
your mind.
question.
You believe what you believe
No,
because you want to believe it.
no, you're very arrogant. You cannot say that. That's not an argument. You're
That is the
affirming.
truth. It's the
No,
truth.
it's not the truth. You
You
you can
do
even
have
no,
evidence? Do you
you
have
can even
evidence?
do you have any evidence of why a negative number by a negative number is a positive number? Can you prove it to me? It's a very
Can I
basic.
prove a negative number is a
Yes,
positive number?
yes. Can you share your
What does
story?
that have to do with anything?
That you believe many things and you cannot even prove them by yourself.
That's
So
what I just said to you. You believe many things, and
exactly. So we just had
they're not things that you can prove.
yes.
You have
Nothing
no
can be
evidence.
provable. So never
How
say
are
that
you going
it
to
is
prove
true.
God talked to you?
Never say that
How are
it
you
is
going to
truth.
prove
What
that?
you're saying. I'm sorry.
The Jews, the prophets, The reason why they were believed is because everybody expected it from them.
How do you know?
What's that?
Okay. Sorry. Yes.
Hey, Mr.
I have come on here.
Wisdom, welcome.
Well, welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for unmuting me. And I have come here to answer the first question I saw on your YouTube live. I don't know if this is false, but you said if the Bible said God spoke directly to people and back then, why isn't God speaking to us right now? Right?
Yes.
Okay, now we have to understand this basic concept. In the Bible, God does sometimes speak audibly or directly For example, to Moses, Abraham, Samuel, and others. But it was never presented as something that's happened frequently to everyone, right? Okay, for Christians, I mean, the historical science, historical belief, there are few main examples of this. Like, I'm gonna give you like 4 points here, if that would be great. God's revelation was progressively get every single day in the Bible. Christian believes God revealed Himself through prophets and ultimately through Jesus. Like in Hebrews 1:1-2 says that God formally spoke through prophets, but in these last days, He spoke through His Son, which is Jesus. Christians believe God still communicates, but not usually audible. The Bible describes God communicating through scripture, prayer, and the Holy Spirit, and also some circumstances, and other people, and through other people. That is different from hearing an unmistakably voice saying, "Hey, do this." So that is just different. So in the Bible purpose, and the Bible's purpose isn't to like promise that every believer will hear God's voice directly. In fact, many biblical figures went long period without receiving a direct message from God. The Bible even describes periods of silence, such as First Samuel, 3:1, where the word of the Lord was rare. It says it directly there. The word of the Lord was rare, and there is also the theological reason Christians gives. Christianity teaches that after Jesus, God's revolution is sorted on Christ rather than a wait, I forgot what. Okay, yeah, but still, Christianity teaches that after Jesus, God's revelation is sorted on Christ rather than a conscious or whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to say, conscious stream of new prophets, message and all. So someone claiming God literally spoke to me and told me this isn't automatically considered trustworthy, you know. But there is an important distinction. God doesn't normally speak audibly today, is not the same as God is incapable of speaking directly today. Christianity theology generally says God can communicate however He chose. It simply doesn't promise that He will routinely do so. And honestly, if you're asking why would God speak directly to people thousands of years, but apparently not me, this is a much deeper question about God's relationship. If you have a personal, intimate relationship with God, that's only the way you can answer the question. Personally, I can't, but it's a much deeper side of relationship to God for you to actually be capable of hearing His voice.
So wow, that was a lot of information. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom, and welcome, Gudra. So let me ask you just a few questions. I'll take it that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have never heard God, never audibly communicated with you.
I have never audibly communicated with God.
Okay, so do you believe God is real?
I believe God is real.
Do you know God is real?
Do I know? Is there
Yeah.
evidence? Yes, there is evidence. Are there proof? Say for yourself. If me and you, there is proof
No,
cannot be
wait, I'm sorry.
distinguished.
I didn't pick up the answer. Do you know God is real?
I believe God is real. I know God is real.
Okay, I think there's a difference between believing and knowing. Which one is it?
I know God is real and I believe in God.
So why do you say believe if you already know? I'm just trying to understand,
Well,
because that seems to me a
okay.
contradiction.
Wait, let me just think of this.
You say that you believe, you don't know.
Wait, I'm just trying to think. Okay, wait. Okay, I say believe because I trust and accept God. Wait, okay, wait. I'm just trying to think.
It's okay. That's
I
okay.
say believe because I thank you. I say believe because I trust and accept God as true, knowing as true. Knowing and believing aren't always the same thing. Yes, indeed. I can know something based on evidence while still saying I believe in it, right? Like for example,
It seems to me that
I know
if you have to go back
I
to believing, it's because probably the evidence is not enough. Whatever you know or you think you know or even believe about the invisible entity that you reference as God, also known as God of Israel, you know this information not given to you by this invisible entity. It was given to you by other people through one of these books. And I say books in plural because there's no such a thing as one Bible. And that's why you're saying, I believe. And you're not even saying, I believe in God. You're saying, I believe what these people are telling me. That there's a God somewhere out there, seems to me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, there is a God somewhere. You're right. I mean, well, if I have to say I believe, that means I accept it as true based on the evidence I have, the evidence that has been provided through historical figures. Of course, we can just not only know something without any evidence, right? But I recognize that the evidence isn't absolutely proof. I believe because I find the evidence convincing, not because I have 100% certainty, you know?
Are you referring, when you say evidence, are you referring to the 500 witnesses or the archaeological findings or the resurrection of Jesus Christ?
It can be 500 witnesses, it can be 500 eyewitnesses. Those are historical figures that have provenly wrote the Bible down to describe the nature of like a living there, to know that okay, it is a possibility chance that there is a living God out there that cares for us individually, that is
But
out there watching over us. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That sounds like you're gonna go into preaching, which I sometimes I don't appreciate when we're trying to have a conversation. So correct me if I'm wrong, but even if you call it or decide to call it evidence, this evidence is not coming from you and God. This evidence is coming from other people. And that other people that you're getting this information from, you don't know them. So someone could say or point out that this information could be corrupted, could be probably manipulated. Probably they were lying. Probably they exaggerated. Is my pointing these things out incorrect? Would I be wrong about pointing these things out?
Probably no.
No, you
Probably not, right? Probably I'm right.
you're probably right.
So why would anybody conclude and call this information evidence when you have no way of talking to those supposedly eyewitnesses? And I don't know, seems to me very problematic that you come into a conclusion about an invisible entity based on what other people are telling you, not your direct experience or knowledge.
Hey, Javier, do you believe Roma existed?
I'm sorry, Destroyer, say it again.
Do you believe Roma existed? Do you know that the Roman Empire existed?
I never been to Rome, but from books and stuff like that, seems that Rome was a real place. Yes.
You know what is the main history writer that we know Roma from? Roman Empire?
Literally thousands.
No, the
Yeah.
main one. The main
There's
one.
not a
Welcome,
main one.
Robert,
There's literally
Skeptic
thousands.
Philosophy.
The
So
main
wait, what was the focus of the question?
Okay.
that I didn't ask how many, that I asked for the main.
No
It's a
such thing.
Oh, no such a thing.
That's right. There's not one document that we or that historians think that
Okay.
based on that document that a home was
Something that
real.
you can count. That wrote the most lines about Rome. That's something you can count. Certainly, you have an answer.
Person writing the most lines wouldn't make it more real because they say the word more times. It wouldn't even make it more authoritative.
Okay, Javier, tell me something you know. Something you know for sure that you say this is truth.
There's
That
a
I'm
moon
talking,
outside.
that I'm talking to a person in the Discord with the username Prot Destroyer.
How do you know you're not schizophrenic? We're not
Because
animals.
of the many times I have done this over and over and over again, I can conclude that I'm not schizophrenic. I could be
Just-
wrong, but
It could
most
be wrong.
probability I'm accurate.
Yeah. Let me
You
speak
could
to
be
that
wrong.
right quick, though. Everything has degrees of certainty. I'll agree with you there. I'm holding a cup in my hand. I have a higher degree of certainty of this thing than of who you are. I don't think that's an argument whatsoever. But the problem is when you look at textual critical scholars that actually do date this. One moment, let me try to get this TV turned down. When you do look at textual critical scholars' consensus on this, they don't believe that any of the writers of the New Testament were eyewitness accounts of Jesus.
That's
And
what
this
they
is
believe.
this is a quick Google that they are textual critical scholars that date the documents and that try to trace the historicity of these things. And it's an easy Google.
How do you
Not
date
just
them?
that, I think the majority of
How do you date
scholarship,
them? How do you date
I-
them?
the writing or the documents that we have, like the origin of the writing, I would date them along with the majority of critical scholarship, and that would be 70 to 75 AD for Mark. We'll put Matthew and Luke at 90, and we'd put John at 110, and that's those. As far as like Corinthians likely predates all of them. So Corinthians is likely the oldest of all of the writings that testifies to a character named Jesus, and it's from Paul. This is one of the uncontested letters, and we're probably putting this about 58 to 60, somewhere in this area is but again, we don't have any of the original autographs of any of them.
Yeah, that is right. They are from 50 to 60 after Christ. And what is
33 would have been Christ's time of death, so it's
Um,
closer than that with Corinthians, but it's where textual criticism. But Paul never met Jesus, notably.
how do you know?
But he never says in the story. He says that the light came to him and that he saw the voice, but the people that were with him didn't see the voice, and so forth. In Acts, it's not his writing, but this is the storyline: is that Jesus appeared to him in a vision. But it also says that he fell off of the horse and that he couldn't see for like a week. So it could have been a vision of anything. Even if he's telling the truth, he could have hallucinated with a very bad hit on the head.
Now, what about the story? This story. I'm gonna search this word. Wait a minute.
Well, it's true though. If you mean Paul never met Jesus during Jesus' earthly ministry, the Bible does not explicitly say Paul never met Jesus, but Paul says he received his gospel independently rather than
Yes.
from the absolutes.
He
Okay,
did say
and
that.
like,
He did say that,
yeah,
but there's no text that mentions him ever meeting Jesus. And the story of him starts out with them persecuting Christians and never mentions meeting Christ at all. You'd think this is something that, with all the letters that he wrote, he could have mentioned that he met him, but he didn't. So I think it's an extraordinary stretch to think that Paul met Jesus.
No, he never met him.
Okay.
But how
So-
does that prove that is a lie or something, or that he invented Jesus.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I didn't say he invented Jesus. But the statement that was said earlier is why I actually come in. Is Mr. Wisdom said that it's provable that the writers. I can't remember the exact terminology he used, but we know that these are the writers. We don't at all know that. Mark is not attributed
Yeah.
to Mark by the majority of scholarship. Luke is not attributed to Luke. John is not attributed to John. Like the majority of scholarship doesn't think that any of these attributed names are who wrote them, with the exception to Paul. And even then, we have half of the Paulinian letters are considered the uncontested letters, and half are considered contested and pseudepigraphic, not by the same writer. So I'll give you the uncontested and say that these were written by Paul. But I mean, scholarship doesn't think James was written by James. I mean, so forth and so on. In Second Peter is one of the latest additions to the entire Bible. Like that's quite late.
But the Bible is a
Right?
collection of different books written
Sure.
by multiple authors across roughly 1,000 years ago. For Matthew is
No.
traditionally attributed to Matthew. So you saying that, I think it's kind of not true though. Mark is traditionally attributed to Mark. Luke is traditionally attributed to Luke, and John and Paul.
Correct.
And
The tradition first happened. The first document that we have of the dating said it was in a document that we don't have, but that document would have dated about 120. The document that we do have is dated about 170, and it's where they first attribute them to them. But notably, Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 9:9, that actually mentions Matthew in the third person if it was from the writing of Matthew. It says that Jesus came and saw, and that he met the man that met Matthew in there. So he would have been talking about himself in the third person, which is it's just not how they talk. People can make it like that, oh no, they totally talk. It's just not true. So that definitely wasn't written by Matthew. He talked about meeting Matthew, not saying this is when he came and met me.
Many books on the Bible refer to the authors in third person, but what is the argument for them to not believe that Mark gospel wasn't written by Mark?
Well, we can even give it to Mark, and the text actually never had Mark meeting Jesus. So even if we gave it to Mark, Mark is a follower of Peter. He wasn't a follower of Jesus. He never met Jesus. You can read his account in Acts. He's called John Mark, and he's mentioned several times. He didn't meet Jesus even in the textual story.
he met Paul.
Right. So even if you gave Mark to Mark, he still didn't meet Jesus.
And didn't Paul was in the same situation that he didn't meet Jesus?
Correct. There just is no firsthand account of anyone who met Jesus. That just isn't.
Damn. Okay. A very important point here is the four gospel don't actually says inside the text. I am Matthew, I am Mark, like to say, like something like that. The name were attached through early Christian tradition. So for the Old New Testaments, traditionally, Paul, Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesus, Phineas, and all those kind of verses were traditionally just given to them. So when you just, and the Old Testament has even more complex authorship. Which, for example, traditionally Moses is credited with the first 5 books.
Traditionally, but the Catholic Church has abandoned that even, and the vast majority don't. And that's just because of the way that the texts write about him being over on the other side of the river, or about his burial, and say that his body hasn't been found even to this day. And he's talking about Moses. So like, it's not possible for that to be Moses that wrote the text. So, I mean, we know that Moses didn't write. So how the Catholics try to argue it now, my understanding is, and I'm sorry, I've only recently been running into this, is they'll try to cash it out as it was the judges of Moses, right, that would have wrote it, to give them credibility that they're close to Moses. But we have no way. Like, the texts don't say they were from Moses. It was traditionally thought that way. Textual critics has tore that thing absolutely apart. There's no possible way it was written by Moses.
What does
why
all
not?
this have to do with speaking to God?
Sorry, there's two questions on the table.
Yeah, I think Raquel is asking the topic that we're talking about, speaking to God. We're trying to see the reference about what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, all they're doing is trying to rationalize their scriptures, where they got them, what year they were written, who wrote them. It's nothing about God talking to them. God
Well,
doesn't talk to anybody. People hear things, people see things. That's all it is. That's
it,
the reality.
I
The
agree
other
with you.
anything other than that is just fuzzy logic, or people telling you things and you want to believe them because they make you feel good. Just like Clearwater said.
Wait,
It's just feeling. It's just feelings. That's all it is. That's all it's about. It's all it ever was.
Raquel,
The
the reason
reality, the reality is that we're human beings. We break easy. We hear things. We see things. We imagine things. We actually think things. We'll imagine things in our heads and actually believe them. You'll see people still doing that today. So there's no difference. Trying to figure out who wrote what is just trying to say, yeah, the Bible was written by somebody at this time. That doesn't prove anything. It doesn't say anything.
Raquel, the only reason that I even mention it is because when people don't realize where the majority of scholarship and the people who have dedicated their life and doctorate to studying these things, like they don't realize that the majority of these people don't think that these were the people that wrote it. It's a little bit of an eye opener when they do realize that. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Robert, for doing that. Having the patience to do that. And the knowledge, of course, because you do a lot of reading and investigation.
I did want to push back 10 years on what I said a moment ago, because I'm seeing the paper that was written. We don't have the paper, but Irenaeus cited the paper
Yeah,
from
I gotta go.
Papias, and it's 110 to 130, not 120 where I dated it. So we think that might have been the first one that attributed it, though we don't have that copy. The first copy that we have is the Muriation fragment, and it's 170. And they're the first one we have in print that says, hey, Matthew, Mark, and Luke was attributed to Matthew, Mark, and Luke.
Okay.
Robert, by any chance, do you know who Caro is?
Who?
Caro is on the Discord.
No.
So, huh?
I said, what's up, Nick?
What's up?
Nick-
I
Nick-
actually had a question of the scholars of. Could I just get a couple names?
Dan McClellan, for one. I mean, I'm not sure how many you want, but you can easily Google this. It seems like, were you here when you asked for the list the last time? And I said that I could pull 30.
No, I
and
wasn't.
gave like 20. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't been here in a while, man.
I want to thank everybody that have subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. Only do it, please, if you think there's something of value in this channel, in these conversations. And if you want to do a thumbs up and share these videos or my shorts that I put out every day, you're more than welcome to do it. Thank you so much for the people that have subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So we're asking the questions if anybody has been contacted directly by God, has provided you some kind of information verbally.
I just wanted to know the scholars in particular.
There's 20 in the side chat.
Yeah, and the only reason I asked is because, like, would they say, as scholars themselves, would they say they're authoritative on the matter?
Yeah, I think the best people that are authoritative on the matter are textual critical scholars that try to date documents specifically based on their linguistics. So I think they're probably the most authoritative on the subject.
No, would they say they are authoritative?
I don't understand what you're calling authoritative. Depends on your criteria. I don't
Yeah,
know if
like,
this is
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
a like, oh, but did God give them authority? I don't know where we're going with the conversation.
Right. No, it's just in general, do you think they would say what they claim as biblical scholars would be authoritative on the matter?
They would, if it's the majority. This
Okay.
is why we don't use
So
the
just a
term.
general consensus.
Yeah, it's a general
Okay.
consensus. Yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah, that was,
think
I
that's
was just wondering
generally a
that.
term. This is why, like when you see citations from Marcus Borg or even Bart Ehrman and Dan McClellan, they'll use terms all the time like the majority. So they don't use like this person is authoritative as that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
I've never seen him use it anyway.
Hey, Gudra, you're very quiet. Have God any time spoken to you verbally? Give you any messages, anything?
I mean, when you're in desert and when you're thirsty so much, or when it's so cold or so hot or anything too extreme, you start getting hallucinations. Like in the desert, you can start to see oasis or some stuff like that. So even if when people are in bad mood or stuff like that, bad situations are happening. So people, when they touch the bottom, they often start to see some hallucinations or hear some voices. So even if I heard some voice, I wouldn't believe that it was God. Like even if I heard that voice, like for not for once, for a longer time, like there could be so much more options that are true than only that. But what Destroyer said, like for what evidence we have that Rome existed, I mean, they didn't claim that Rome was flying city in the sky, so that it's hard to believe. Like that's why the Bible is a different thing. Like all of them are saying that God was talking to them. Like God isn't talking to any of us, I believe. And I mean, if God wanted to talk with us and have a relationship with us, why would he be talking to some guy so he can write the Bible? Why God don't come at us at our birth or at start of our life and tell us, oh, look, things are this, and this way. You can go with me in heaven after, or you can go in hell, you choose. I mean, by telling you the truth, if God came at the start of your life and told you, he doesn't take any of your free will. Like if you know the truth, it doesn't make you a robot. What most of people would say, then if you know, you will be like a robot. No, if I told you that like your wife is cheating on you, what free will did I took from you? If I told you that today is Monday, what free will I took from you? Like it doesn't took free will if you know the information. And also, if God wanted to save the most people that could be possible to save, like why didn't he give us the 10 times better brain, like better critical thinking, better logic? So it's possible that we would all, if we be like 1,000 times smarter, that we all would say, okay, sin is bad, and we choose by our own free will not to do bad things. So I don't think this is the perfect world that God created to save the most people. Like I think that there are billions different options, and if he is like almighty and all powerful, he could do things differently 100%. Like even though we say that God is all powerful and almighty, I was talking to some people and they told me like God can't make 1 + 1 3. God can make like a circular triangle. God can't lie. So it doesn't look to me that the God is all powerful. I don't know.
So God wants to have a relationship with you, Gudra, while being invisible and not speaking to you.
Yeah, he told some guy before 2,000 years that he want to have a relationship with me. I mean, it sounds like a joke. I want to talk to you when I tell your ancestors before 2,000 years. I mean, God can talk with all of us directly. Let's say at the moment, at the start of our life, and say, look, things are like this, and that. there is Lucifer, there is heaven, there is hell. Those are the commandments. Not just telling one guy that would spread the story, right? Because it's never that 100% of population would believe that guy. I mean, if Christianity if real and if Christian God is real, why would he let his religion just be like one of many others, one of millions of others? Like if I was a Christian God, Christianity wouldn't be just another religion. It would be a real thing. Like he can tell us, everybody of us, like right now, he can make us all believers the moment he chooses. But it looked like he's hiding from us. He's invisible. He is not talking to us, but he won't have a relationship with us.
It's almost like he doesn't exist, huh?
Yeah.
Almost, yeah. But also the statement about the best text for Rome is just such a silly, like, it seems like it's a
Why
game
does
to me.
God not communicate with us on the day?
Kato, I usually
According
don't
to
do
the
that.
Bible.
I allowed you on the server. Welcome. Please go ahead.
So, okay, I can speak. So typically, you were going about why would God do this? Why would God do that? Why does God not talk to us? Well, why do you think you're worthy to talk to God? First off,
I don't, but if he wants us to believe,
in the
he
past,
wanted
it
us.
said God will no longer talk to us. It says that in the Bible. If you want to
Can you
know
give me the
God,
verse?
you have to read the Bible. Yeah, absolutely, I can. Matter of fact, I'll use Google.
Yeah.
I got a Bible next to me, but I'll use Google because you're a big fan of Google.
Sure.
Google.
I mean, the verse is
What
good
does
too.
it say? What verse does it say where God will no longer speak to the people?
Just to let you know, Kato, you're mentioning one of my points of my presentation at the beginning. Maybe God doesn't speak to you because you're not worth it. You're not saved. You don't have the Holy Spirit. You don't believe enough.
God
You
gives
have sin
the
in your life.
opportunity. It says God gives you the opportunity to be a believer. You choose whether to follow God. He says,
so no verse.
The belief is believed. Yeah. God's presence passage, Hebrew 13:5 explicitly quotes God saying, "Never will I leave you." That's not what I'm talking about. People, let me just look it up in the Bible. It's pretty early. It's like easily Old Testament stuff. He's like, he only showed himself to the list of people I stated earlier, which would be Adam, Eve. He never actually spoke to many people. It was only Adam, Eve, Abraham, Moses, Jacob, Noah, Elijah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Samuel, Malachi.
So
Those are the only people he actually spoke to.
But he showed himself to them even more.
He only showed himself. Yeah, he only showed himself to a handful. Honestly, he did send angels. He did
sent a
show
pillar of
himself
fire
to
down
Moses,
to slurp up all
but
the
he told
offering.
Moses he had to wear a veil.
Doesn't that sounds like racism? You just choose a certain group of people and they are privileged while everybody else is just no.
How is that racism?
I mean, I'm a
not
god.
racist.
I'm a creator of everybody, and I just
He's
choose
the
like a
creator of
group of 10
everybody.
people.
So when he started the flood, why did he cause the flood? You just said he caused the flood just to kill everyone. He didn't do that. Why did he cause the flood? Do you know the answer to that question?
Why did God cause the flood?
Cairo,
He said because the people were murdering and eating people. There's cannibalism. He saw great
just
evil
tell me
in
this.
the
Can
land.
can you clarify? I'm sorry, just a second. Can you clarify for 100% that the entire earth deserved to die? So God killed everybody.
So it's not
Like
up to me.
there wasn't babies that were innocent. There wasn't like any good guy on the planet. So God decided just to wipe everybody.
Absolutely, and you know
100%.
there were prophets.
Cannibalism was never mentioned
that
by
had
them.
that conversation.
You just
with
made that
God.
one up.
He said, "I did not make that up."
Cannibalism is not mentioned in Genesis at all. You said they were eating people. That was never stated. They just said that they were a wicked and untoward. It didn't say they ate one another.
Okay. Anyways, But what did you just ask? It
I
was
mean, all animals
Oh,
deserve to die
the
also,
the
right?
proof of kids and stuff. You know, he was like, "What's the proof that you know kids weren't innocent and stuff?" Yeah, sure, they could have been innocent. You know, it also says in the Bible that kids always go to heaven. You know, it says to be like a child without sin. You know, when you're a child and an infant, you don't have the understanding of the world. You don't have the understanding to be evil.
Cato, could you have thought of an easier way if you had the power of God than flooding and killing people that weren't guilty?
I don't know. Could you?
Yes,
Oh
easily.
yes,
What
everybody,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Look, well, first of
Everybody,
all, we've
brother.
already seen it in the biblical text. We've seen Ananias and Sapphira when they lied to the Holy Ghost. They
What
simply
would
fell
you
dead.
have done?
Wave my hand. All the people that were evil just fell dead.
You would just
Done.
wave your hand. Okay.
Yes, that's simple. It really like Ananias and Sapphira just fell dead according to the New Testament text just for lying to the Holy Ghost.
What if his power doesn't
clearly
work like that?
Oh, his power doesn't work like that.
I don't know.
We now have a power
How do
scaling
you,
problem.
You tell me. I mean, you're all of a sudden the professional God of why he does things.
Sure. If we're talking about just thermodynamic energy, the amount of energy that it takes to flood the earth is far less than if he had the control of people's souls just to pull them out, just done. All of the people that he wanted to die, they could have just died. Not only that, if he already knew that they were going to come to that position to start with, he could have guided it before it got to that position. So he could have moved something as simple as small things before it came to that position, but he didn't. He allowed it to get to that position and then says, well, you know what? I think I'll just kill everybody. I think I'll just drown everyone in the world. This is
Or
not
he
logical.
could just create a different
He didn't-
people
he
that
didn't
wouldn't
say
do
he
that
could-
outcome would be different.
Could have rewinded it, could have
Yeah.
softened their hearts earlier on in life. There's so many different things. Could have had someone establish a church. Okay, maybe people could have
Said
prayed
because
more.
Humanity had become completely corrupt and the world was filled with violence and evil.
Yeah,
Would you say that the best
World ri-
option was that he sent his own son so we can like crucify him here, torture him, murder him to be saved? Like that was the best way.
Back in the day, they had sacrifices. Correct. They used to sacrifice lambs to God. You know, Jesus was the lamb. That was the whole point of Jesus being sacrificed. He knew he was going to be sacrificed. He said, "My own people will condemn me." It was his own people. It was the Jewish people.
Doesn't that sound?
This is historically accurate.
Doesn't that sound like the God is
based off
involving
the
with us?
based off historians, not the Bible, it says that the Jewish people condemned Jesus himself.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound like God is
Muslim
involving with
people
us?
say Jesus is real, but it wasn't him crucified, it was someone else staged to be him.
So, Cairo, just to bring the conversation back to the being contacted directly, speaking, spoken word by God, I take it that you have never been talked to by God. God has never spoken to you directly. I noticed you didn't answer the question.
I did answer the question. I said,
What was the answer? I'm sorry, I missed it.
What is his word? What is his word? You know what his word is?
Whatever you say it is.
No. God has spoken to you directly. Has he spoken to you?
He has not spoken to me directly. If he's
No.
What is his word? What is God's word? You answer me this. You're frolicking around in circles. What is his word?
So God
you would say it's
What
this book.
Hold on. So God has never spoken to you directly.
I never said he did. I said he left the word. You know, the Bible is his word. His words are the Bible.
You have to presuppose that, though,
so
right?
God has never spoken audibly to you.
Audibly, no.
No. Okay, so you have information about God directly from God.
Through the word.
Whose word?
The Bible.
Who wrote the Bible?
It's a combination of different prophets.
Who are these
Historians,
prophets? Historian. Who are these?
the prophets would be, let's see, all the prophets of the Bible.
Are these people
Google it.
human? Are you referring to human beings?
I know you're going to pull up the argument
Special people.
of, well, people are chosen to speak for the people. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joe, Amos,
The
Abadiah,
people that
Jonah,
wrote the
Micah.
people that wrote the Bible, the scriptures. These are human beings.
Yeah.
So,
So,
it would
who
be
writes-
incorrect for
Well,
me to
who made the
conclude
computer? It's
that
human beings. Would you
whatever
trust the computer?
information, if you don't mind, Cato,
Okay.
whatever information you know or understand about God, you didn't get this information from God. You're getting it from someone else.
Okay, so this lines up with other things. What proof do we have?
No, can we
What proof do we have?
come to an agreement
About what?
that you're not being fed this information directly from God, but from other people?
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't the message come from God? Can't God speak to his people?
Yes,
and
but
get
so
them to
yes,
create a book?
yes, it's
How would
possible.
you, if you no
Cato,
longer speak to your people and your
I
God?
noticed.
and
I noticed that you
say
want, Cato.
the standards out
I
there.
noticed that you want to move very quickly from what I'm trying to point out.
I'm still on the same subject.
Okay, so this information you're getting it directly from someone else, not from a God.
Where
Even
did
if
they
you
get this
even
information?
if you're correct that these people were inspired by God, still you're not getting it directly from God.
It's inspired by God. So yeah, it's inspired by God, but it's God's word.
So are you getting this information directly from people or from God?
My source of information would be through people. Yes, you're correct. It would be through people. What is their source of information? Where do they get it from?
So can we agree that
We already agreed. I got my source of information through people.
can we agree that even if God is feeding this information to certain people that then are passing this information to you, is it possible that they can corrupt the information? Maybe they can exaggerate it. Maybe they can change it.
It's possible. I mean, look look at the politics right now. I mean, isn't it possible that, a lot of things could be corrupted,
Yeah, so basically, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Cato, or nothing like that. I'm just if you mind to just to finish.
Continue.
The topic of this live stream is just I'm trying to find out if anybody has been contacted verbally by God to see if the information they know about God, they got it directly from God or not, or they got it from another people. That's all I'm trying to find out right now. And I haven't been given information from anybody that had been contacted directly from God. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So if the word is God's word, right? And we know about the Great Flood, 40 days, 40 nights. Recently they did in fact discover Noah's Ark, right?
Yeah, that's a lie.
That's not a lie. It was.
It's
discovered in
100% a
Turkey.
lie. There's no archaeologist with it. You can
Google it.
easily Google it. There is
Google
no
it.
archaeologist with any degree that has stood behind that position that that's the ark. I mean, it's a great conspiracy cell, but it's just not archaeologically
Measured
founded.
roughly 515 feet, 157 meters, matching the rough biblical
not
dimensions
wood.
of the ark.
Not
First
wood, not
highlight
even
in
fossilized wood.
1959 by Turkish Captain İlhan Durapin, later popularized independent research Ron Wyatt in 1980s.
So a proven fraud
Claims
that
and
has been
scans.
busted multiple
Recent
times.
claims and scans include Noah's Ark scans have partnered with select Turkish academics figures to conduct update electrical research tomograph ERT, and ground penetration radar GPR.
You
And they
can
have
Google on
photos
Google.
of it.
You
Yeah,
can check it
They're not
on
AI.
Google.
You can
Kato,
literally just Google it.
I keep
Yes, I
noting.
did
But
Google it.
you're
I did
arguing that
Google
it's
it. I
not
did
real,
Google it.
but
Here's the
Yeah, I
answer.
did Google it. Yeah.
Any actual archaeologists who back the idea that the thing they have found is the Ark. Here's the answer. No actual credential archaeologist backs the claim that the boat-shaped European site in Turkey is Noah's Ark. So no one with any archaeology degree, no one backs that that's the Ark.
Some guy, you just made the argument that it's some guy, you know, he can lie, and
Mhm.
you're saying credential archaeologist dude didn't approve it. So what?
Not a single one. I mean, there's
pictures prove
hundreds of archaeologists.
Do
They could
pictures
easily have
prove-
gotten one to back this,
Pictures
but they
prove
can't.
facts. Can you see it with your eyes?
Explain why
Yes.
no
The
archaeologist
answer
will back
is
this.
yes, you can see it with your damn eyes, dude.
But that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing a
You
shape
are
and you
seeing
want
it.
it to be that thing. So you say, oh, that's the Ark. That's not the Ark.
Prove it.
You can Google it,
You're
brother.
just
It
saying
says
no,
no.
it's not.
It
And
says
there's
no,
more
no,
evidence that there's a physical formation there than there is no, it's not.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. There is a physical formation there.
You know why we can't continue research there?
No, please pray tell.
I'm pretty sure recently I was looking it up. We can't do any more research because we're being held off from something with the Turkish government. They're not letting us do more research. Is literally the only reason we're not finding more about it. That's literally all there is.
You think they are hiding the
But
truth?
recently they also did a lot of archaeological digs in Israel. They dug up recent tablets that were dated back pretty old, probably the oldest tablets that anyone's ever found. Pretty cool.
But I noticed something, Kato. We still go back to the same thing. You're being provided this information by other people. God has never provided you with information about the Noah's Ark. Am I correct?
I mean, the Bible. I mean, it's like I said.
We already went through that.
Bible is
We
God's
already
word.
agreed
Yes,
that the
yes,
Bible was written by people.
Written by people.
Yeah,
God's
so
prophet.
whatever you're reading in that book was written by people. God didn't write those words in those books because there's no such a thing as one Bible. So, do you have any information from God about Noah's Ark? I mean, I'm not playing games. I'm being serious. Or you're just gonna go by what other people are telling you? Which is, there's nothing wrong about that, but when it comes to invisible entities, I prefer to have first, sources from the God, not from other people, because people can lie. People can make stuff
Yeah,
up.
they absolutely can, but have you proven anything in the Bible as a lie?
The Bible talks about an invisible entity called God, God of Israel.
It talks about God, but can you prove he's not real?
Yeah, I cannot prove the non-existence of something nobody has proof exists.
So what do you think created the world? Do you think it was the Big Bang?
I have
what's your
no
conclusion?
idea. I'm ignorant. I don't know what caused this universe, what I'm doing here, where do I come from, and what happens to me when I die.
Well,
I can
what do
be
you
I
think?
can be honest and transparent by saying that.
Mhm.
I prefer to say I don't know than explaining everything with an invisible entity from a foreign country.
All I'm trying to say is there's so many lines pointing to there is a God more than there is a line saying there isn't a God.
Every
Isn't-
information that is
Isn't the
being
fact that me and you are alive proof that there is something?
mom.
Yeah, and also, Cato, you're not aware of Chulum.
Aware of what?
Chulum, you know who Chulum is?
Spell that.
I gotta go. Yeah.
I'll put it on the screen if you want.
Yeah.
Chulum is the creator of the universe.
A real
Chulum?
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
real
Chulum.
God.
Chulum. Thank you, Robert. This is the real
Archaic
creator of the
language.
universe, and I can
This
prove
is
it to you.
Archaic language, Chulum language, highly endangered Siberian Turkic language spoken fewer than 50 people in Russia. A population. What? That's not what you're saying.
What
I
people
put it in exactly what you were talking about. It's just not.
what people got
Mayan language?
Chulum is the creator of the universe, and I can prove it to you.
Ebas?
but what country or population is this guy coming from?
Population rural?
Chulum is a creator of the universe. It's not a place.
What is
that-
his
That's not coming up. Explain. I'm interested.
Yeah, Chulum
is
is the
his
creator of the
people?
universe, and I can prove it to you.
Okay, prove it.
Yeah, where the universe come from? The universe cannot come from nothing. It has to come from an intelligent being. That's Chulum, the creator of the universe.
So
Can
you do
can
believe in a god.
Can you prove that Chulum is not real?
Where did this guy
do believe in a
come
God.
from?
No, the one thing that Chulum asks you is don't believe in him and don't follow him.
Then you don't believe in a god?
No, I don't.
So you're just contradicting yourself?
Even if I believe or don't, or if I accept it or not, it doesn't change the fact that Chulum is the creator of the universe. It doesn't change anything if I believe or not.
So Chulum is just something you made up. Got you.
Yeah, can you prove that Chulum doesn't exist?
Never.
You see, we can play games like this all night.
So basically what you said Chulum exists, but Chulum doesn't exist. So you already disproved your own theory that Chulum exists. Because you made up Chulum, therefore you said Chulum does not exist, therefore Chulum is not real.
No.
No, you're mistaken.
No, you have no say in it, Gudra. This was all Clearwater's god. You know, it's
Chulum
Chulum.
is the creator of the universe.
Yeah,
I believe in Chulum.
he said
brother.
it. Chulum.
Yeah.
When did he say
Believe
that
it or
Chulum
you believe
doesn't
it,
exist?
believe it. If I don't believe it, it doesn't change that fact.
So
mean,
what's
it's
your
obvious.
history? What's your history on Chulum? You just made this guy up. What's your history on him? What's his?
Chulum is a real god. Chulum doesn't market himself. Chulum doesn't have a book. Because with Chulum, there are no sacrifices. There's no blood, no violence. There's no heavens. There's no emotional rewards. There's no place of torture. There are no big boats that go in floods. Chulum is not killing anyone. You don't have to get on your knees to pray to Chulum. He's not listening to your prayers. He doesn't care if you do good or bad. He just created you. Live your life. When you're done, just get back.
So your Chulum started in 4000 BC.
I don't know. I have no idea. Chulum doesn't talk to people. Chulum doesn't interfere with humanity.
Yeah, but surely, well, of course, Chulum probably wouldn't want to listen to people with finding archaeological digs on history of our people, or
Don't care.
dating back
How
to
do you know
how
Chulum exists?
long we, back when time was just when it
How do
was
you
all.
know Chulum exists?
Christopher, Chulum exists because the universe. He's the creator of the universe.
So God exists because He's the
Well,
creator of the universe.
That's still subjective.
You
I
know,
mean, he's playing the same game as you, brother. You're saying that God created the universe, and he's just
But
saying
there's
that God created the
also,
universe.
I have a different God. I have a different God than you. My God, I've already explained it. And if I'm not going to sit here and explain it to someone who doesn't listen. So that's a moot point. That's a moot point, Judah. I'm not going to continue in that conversation. However, I do want to address with Clearwaters here, your subject, as well as the arc thing. As a linguistic, that word arc is not the same as the word Ark of the Covenant. So you got this Ark of the Covenant, then you got Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark is a little bit different kind of word. It contains a tav and the bet, which is a house. So in the understanding of what's actually being stated, you can go to a high place in the mountains and build a shelter, a floating type shelter, which the Egyptians used to do quite a bit on the River Nile. And that's where the actual word derives from. This ark word here derives from what the Egyptians were using as an ark in their ancient culture. So this actually could have just been a type of floating house that was connected to a higher position in the mountains. And that's how, you know, so many animals could fit. It's also a bet, meaning a house is also like a fenced in area. You know, a community that is gated, for an example. That's the actual meaning of that word, Noah's Ark.
Thank you so much for the information, Christopher. We only have 5 minutes until we're done with the live stream. If you don't mind, in 1 minute, just so you close, I ask you, have you ever been contacted directly by God in an audibly way, like he spoke to Jesus?
Yes, in my experience of the truth of what that word God represents and means from the book, I speak to God every day, all day long.
No, the question is not if you have spoken to God. Has God ever spoken to you directly?
All day long, directly,
okay, when was the last time, and what did he tell you?
Just now. He's speaking to me just now, but when I'm having a conversation, I have to use words which are knowledge and education and wisdom and thought. That's God. That's what God is to me. It's a living thing that animates my life. Without it, I am nothing. Without God, I am nothing.
Okay, Christopher, in 1 minute, do you want to send a message before we finish? 1 minute.
No, I just, you know, it's you got to understand words before you make assumptions on what something is going to mean. In the same manner as when you were saying Shalom, and there is nothing related to him, but you did say that he created the universe. You have to have evidence then that he created the universe. I've given my evidence about my God creating the universe, which is logical. And then I when you say he doesn't get involved with people's lives, that was my question for you, is then how do you know that that is even an existent thing called Shalom? How do you explain that? I've explained my God. It's very reasonable. That's why I'm asking you, Shalom, if he doesn't interact with you, how do you know it?
That could be a topic for next live stream. But Christopher, I know that Chulum is the creator of the universe because the universe exists, and also I got access apparently to some accidentally information about Chulum by something that could be explained as close as having a deja vu, something I cannot explain. But thank you, Christopher. I have to finish this live stream in 2 minutes exactly. Gudra, you want to close with 1 minute?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe just to say something about the ark. Like, is there anyone in this world that can believe that a guy created a ship that could house every single species of the animals in the pair, like a male and a female, and those animals came to him, or he collected them, or the story is just completely impossible. Like there is no 0.001% chance that the guy created the ship that can house all the species of animal on the earth. And they slept there for like 40 days. They didn't eat each other. They didn't eat anything. It just completely made up story.
Before you go, can I ask you that? Can I ask Gouda this question? Gouda, explain to me then.
No,
explain
Christopher.
To me
Christopher,
explain a zoo.
We gotta finish the live stream.
I know. I'm just saying we make zoos.
We can talk about that on the next live stream. Thank you so much, Gudra. Thank you, Christopher.
Clearwater. I'm gonna look up Chulum.
Yes,
I'm gonna do a deep studying on it.
Yes.
And then because I don't make arguments based on something I don't understand. So I'm gonna figure this out. I'll look this up, And because I understand deja vu. Deja vu is a real experience that you can have. But I'm going to study your chulum, and I'll get back to you on it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you, Gudra. Thank you, Kato. Thank you. I know you're listening too. Also to Destroyer, I think it was his user, Wisdom. Thank you so much for participating in this conversation. Of course, thank you so much for Skeptic Philosophy, Robert, for also participating. Thank you so much for that information. And to Raquel, also, that was participating in the conversations on Discord. Thank you so much. The most 3 hours. We'll be seeing you again tomorrow night with another interesting topic. Thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. If you find something of value, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Mr. Old Boy, thank you. Thank you, TP Seeker. Thank you, Professor Hazel, Lord of Grieve, Charles Oliver, Michael Grant, Earth Drew, Gen X, Meow. Thank you so much, Robert Ellis. Sometimes I get to read some of these messages on the chat, but today we had a conversation with people on the Discord. So sometimes it's the chat, sometimes it's the call. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Out of Babylon. Thank you so much for participating. Hersey 98. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Diva Don't Play. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you again tomorrow night.
you